All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another stream. Today we are going to be doing most voted for this week, of course, which is Siege of Terra Lost in the Dam. Going to be picking up where we left off, I guess, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I was really liking this series last time, man. Filling in a lot of the context that we otherwise haven't seen, I guess. You know, there's always the key events of the Siege of Terra, you know, like obviously the spaceport being taken, obviously, you know, Sanguinius fighting, Sanguinius eventually falling, a bunch of like the major events we've heard about, but this is filling in a lot of like the context amongst the characters that like I feel like we just haven't checked out before, and it's really interesting. I'm really liking this series so far. Yeah, guys, I'm excited to check this one out. I'm glad this did get most voted, especially since if we look at the Amber King's channel, of course, and I did make a little post about this. Siege of Terra First Wall upcoming, premiere for tomorrow. So of course, if you guys are interested in seeing that, make sure you guys check that out tomorrow on the Amber King's channel. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Obviously, you know, I'm going to have to wait to check it out, but that might be making its way to this, or not this week's poll, but next week's poll, perhaps, if you guys want to see that. So yeah, I mean, it's looking like it might be pretty good, you know, so make sure you guys check that out. Of course, if you guys enjoyed this stream, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe for more content from me. Of course, leave recommendations down in the comments below if you're watching this in the future. As for right now, it's awesome to see you guys here. Really appreciate you guys tuning in as always, and it's awesome to check this out with you guys. Awesome to see you here, Hobbit, Andrew, Colton. Awesome to see you guys here. So yeah, without any further delay, guys, I say we get right into it. Yeah, this will be the Siege of Terra Lost in the Dam. We're liked up, we're already subscribed up, captions are on, quality 1080p, we take it when we can get it, obviously, full screen. Without any further delay, guys. Oh wait, paper, what am I doing? I'm pulling a novice maneuver right now. That's got stuff on it. Oh, it's okay, keep more down beneath on my printer, have extra paper. All right, keyboard is up, paper in front, pen. Let's get it, boys.
It is a time of legend. The galaxy is in flames. The Emperor's glorious vision for humanity is in ruins. His favored son, Horus, has turned from his father's light and embraced chaos. His armies, the mighty and redoubtable Space Marines, are locked in a brutal civil war. Once these ultimate warriors fought side by side as brothers, protecting the galaxy and bringing mankind back into the Emperor's light. Now they are divided. Some remain loyal to the Emperor, whilst others have sided with the War Master. Preeminent amongst them, the leaders of their 1,000-strong legions are the Primarchs. Magnificent, superhuman beings, they are the crowning achievement of the Emperor's genetic science.
Of course.
Thrust into battle against one another, victory is uncertain for either side. Worlds are burning. At Istan 5,
I'm really liking this recap
Horus
here.
Dealt a vicious blow, and 3 loyal legions were all but destroyed. War was begun, a conflict that will engulf all mankind in fire. Treachery and betrayal have usurped honor and nobility.
Wow.
Assassins
Honor
lurk in every
in quotation
shadow.
marks.
Armies are gathering. All must choose a side or die. Horus musters his armada, Terra itself the object of his wrath. Seated upon the golden throne, the Emperor waits for his wayward son to return. But his true enemy is chaos, a primordial force that seeks to enslave mankind to its capricious whims. The screams of the innocent, the pleas of the righteous, resound to the cruel laughter of dark gods. Suffering and damnation await all should the Emperor fall and the war be lost.
Damn.
The end is here. The skies darken, colossal armies gather. For the fate of the
This is a sick
world,
recap.
for the fate of mankind itself, the Siege of Terra has begun.
And that is basically where we left off. Like, it is kind of crazy to think like the first episode was essentially like the space battle getting to Terra itself. And a lot of like I guess like the build up to the actual like ground battle siege itself. And I figure now, Lost in the Damned, I figure this is going to be like pretty action packed for the most part here. That was a sick little intro though. That slideshow like kind of animation that they had going on there, kind of like explaining like each like segment. I guess that was pretty cool. I really like that.
The Praetorian's name was Rogel Dorn. His armor was of gold.
Big boy
His hair
Dorn
was
here.
shocking
Okay.
white. His sculpted face was as severe as any patriarch from mankind's long history. There was no room for compromise in his expression. Sanguinius. The angel was named. He was garbed in gold as bright as dawn's panoply. His armor covered all his body save his face, and his snow-white wings. He was beautiful. A divine being incarnate, pulled down from heaven and exiled in the soiled world of men.
I will say, I understand Sanguinius, right? Like, having his mask off, right? Or his helmet off, I guess. Because he is, like, he's perfect as a physical specimen, right? And, the people want to see that. And, I'm sure that's a very inspiring sight, whatever have you, right? But I feel like, man, keep the helmet on, protect yourself a little bit. You have goddamn wings. They know it's you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, who else is rocking around with these goddamn angel wings, Like, I don't think anyone else has those. I think any other kind of wings you may see, it's pretty obvious that it's not on your side, let's say. Who knows, though? Goddamn. Daddy Dorn? Yeah, dude, Daddy Dorn. He's kicking it into gear, If the lion had been here, he'd have killed Horus within an hour, dude. Honestly, the lion would have been pretty goated alongside, like, Jagatai, man. Like, I imagine they would have gotten a lot of fucking shit done, straight up. Like if the lion, like, went out alongside Jagatai when all that happened, man, I don't know. That a lot of shit could have been different, It all depends on who could have potentially, like, shown up to Terra, right? That's the difficult part, right? Who could have gotten there in time. A lot of what ifs, That's why the what ifs situations are arguably more interesting, because it's cool to talk about that shit.
On it, pulled down from heaven and exiled in the soiled world of men. He observed the universe.
Dorn has his comfort blanket. True.
All gleaming white.
Always forget about
his
that.
Adopted people called him Jagatai Khan, the first name given for his prowess, the latter because he was their king. He kept the name. Like his brothers, he went without his helm.
Like his brothers, he went without his helm. Yeah, like I heard that literally as I just read. Being a named Astartes gives you a passive +5 to head armor, removing the need for a helmet. Like, bro, that's so true. Like, helmets are just like a suggestion for Astartes. Like, you got a thick fucking skull, I guess, and that's good enough. Or a Primarch, I guess, in this case.
He kept the name. Like his brothers, he went without
big fucking head.
Below a tall top knot, his face was proud, wild, and always on the verge of a smile. But troubled, like the sky at summer's end edged with autumn clouds. He sought out death simply for the joy of laughing at it. Midnight, as the old reckoning has it, said the Khan, the symbolic spear cast. Our brother marks his enmity for us. It is a challenge. It is a promise of his victory.
Being a named Astartes, no name is like -30 to armor. True.
Armies met. This shot is meant for the three of us.
Such arrogance,
said.
I imagine, not to get off topic here, but I imagine it must be really sad when, like, you start, like, reading books and shit, and maybe it's just like, something's referred vaguely to as, like, the Kill Squad or something like that, or, like, the group of Astartes, just, like, a name for them. Like, if there's not a named Astartes amongst that group, bro, they're not coming back. You're never going to hear about them again. They're gone. Unless it's, like, used as, like, a MacGuffin tool. No, bro, they're dead. Straight up. And they're gone, and you're never going to hear about them again, in fact.
It did this on Chogoris, when armies met.
You're going to hear about pieces of them being found. That's it.
Meant for the three of us.
Such arrogance,
said Sanguinius softly.
Horus was well gifted with confidence. It has grown wayward. He is too sure of himself.
The Khan shrugged, as if Horus's fall had been an inevitability. His glorious armor hissed and sighed. Dawn turned his gaze to the War Master's armada. Not since the Principe Imperialis had mustered at the opening of the Great Crusade had such a fleet of void ships gathered over Terra, and never before had so many come as enemies. Terra's Iron Children returned to their origin with murder in their hearts, to spit hatred onto the cradle of mankind, and yet, for the moment, they held back, weathering the storm of explosives and violent energy.
I just want to pause on that, man, because I really, again, I love looking at, like, this map, like, specifically just of, like, how, like, the defense is, like, kind of laid out. Like, it looks really sick to me. Like, you can see, like, Terra down here in the bottom right. You got Mars, right? You got, like, all their adjoining, like, space stations. So do they have to... I guess, yeah, they have to come through these gates. So this is, like, just the most direct route, I guess, that, like, would be taken to get to Terra, right? In essence. So Jupiter would be, like, yeah, like your space stations and shit, your defensive structures there. I wonder how that works, though. Like,
And they held back, weathering the storm of explosives and violent energies hurled at them from the ground. A snaggle shell fell upon the shields.
Why do you wait?
Dawn said quietly. The ramparts of the Bab Bastion were empty, except for the three brothers. The question he uttered for the sake of speaking, for recently he felt himself falling too often into silence.
Come to us. Break yourself upon our walls.
He waits no more,
said Sanguinius. His voice, once melodious, was strained.
It begins.
He lifted his hands and pointed. The sky sparkled 1 billion times as every ship in the fleet spoke together. The Emperor will fall, the pattern of light seemed to say. We have come to wreak ruin.
Every war I have ever seen has hidden beauty,
said the Khan.
that's kind of fucked up to say,
I have seen
Jagatai.
few sights quite so entrancing as this,
A fleeting beauty,
said Dawn.
and deadly.
The shells hit upon the upper atmosphere, where they drew flaming lines through the sky.
All things are fleeting. Life is short and full of woe. One must wring every moment dry and drink in the experience it has to offer, good or bad.
The space above the palace was full of the downward arcs of munitions and the straight lines of las bursts stabbing upwards. The air shook with matter hurtling from the void. Booming reverberations echoed from the peaks of the Himalaysian Massif, resounding around the world, girdling it in sound even before the first shot detonated.
How can you see the good in this?
Yeah,
Sanguinius asked
exactly.
the Khan. As he turns to look to the Warhawk, the first shells burst.
Like, I'm not trying to say that's a little, like, you know, out of place by the Khan to say such things. Oh, there's always a beauty in war. As, like, Terra itself is getting fucking, like, munition bombed into the dirt. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Khan? Like, that's not really cool to say. Like, you know, maybe, you know, in a different context when it's not happening to us, perhaps you can say that. But it just seems a little, like, you know, out of touch at the current rate. I don't know. Holy shit. Khan is such a goat. Like, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, like, you know, socially, he might need to work on that, you know, a little bit. Because, like, holy shit. Like, Sanguinius is here and he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I agree. Like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, this isn't good. You know what I mean? There's no beauty in this. We're getting fucked up and father's going to die. Like, it's not looking great for us. And obviously, if you know what happens to Sanguinius too, right? Like, holy shit. It's double not good.
Sanguinius asked the Khan. As he turns to look to the Warhawk, the first shells burst over the sky orbital plate. The last of Terra's artificial satellites. It hung low to the horizon, near the inner palace, its wide arrays of grav engines labouring to keep it aloft. The munitions exploded harmlessly, their fury vented into the warp by void shields. The dome of the place protection aegis
Hey there, Bad Chicken, how you doing?
baleful energies.
Joy is an act of defiance. With joy, we win, even if we lose.
What?
To have lived well is a victory all in its own, for we all die. Death is unimportant to the laughing warrior. A poet makes tragedy glorious. That is why.
The shells hit the main shield seconds after hitting.
I understand what he's saying, okay? I can understand, like, his philosophical, like, wisdom in that, right? Like, I can agree, right? But again, given the circumstance, like, this is it, right? There isn't gonna be poets to tell tales of us, because we're all gonna fucking die here. The Imperium is gonna fucking die here, okay? There ain't gonna be poetry, right? When fucking Horus is in charge. It's not about us, okay? At least, at a minimum. I don't, like, you know, Jagatai, like, I'm just saying. I get it, but again, it's, you know, it's misplaced right now. That's wisdom for another time, perhaps, you know? Goddamn, dude.
That is why.
Like, holy shit, dude.
The main shield seconds after hitting Sky. The Aegis was wrought with ancient knowledge, jealously harbored by the priests of Mars. The voids comprising the Aegis reacted, and roofed the earth with fire. Storms of flame shot out from complex tangles of discharged lightning. The palace shuddered with the effort of buried machines, as halls of generators fought to hold back the bombardment from the spires of the city. Towers of nuclear fire roared skyward from every horizon. Tremors shook
Nuclear
the very
fire,
world
oh.
as the first rounds of shells hit. The fleet's energy cannons awoke, hurtling shafts of burning light and streams of plasma down.
We are fucked.
So that the void shields danced, and the view of the ships was lost. The Emperor's Praetorian looked up into the inferno in the sky. His eyes focused somewhere past the fleet, deep into the hidden void, as if he could see
Nuclear fire is the best kind of fire? I don't know about that.
And the material universe and out
it's
into
true.
the warp, where the fleets of Robute.
Listen, in the context of like 40k, when you have like nuclear fire, what you say is like, okay, that's bad, right? But then you have like other kinds of fire too, you know what I'm saying? You definitely have like some type of, you know, there's worse things that you could fall into, let's say in 40k, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, other than fire. So in that context, I guess it's pretty good actually. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
And the material universe and out into the warp, where the fleets of Robute Gilliman made all haste to the throne world.
still more humane than
His
Prometheum?
gauntlets gripped
Maybe
the rim
actually.
of the parapet tightly.
We will not fall.
Well, with enough Prometheum, you might just
will
like fucking pop
stand.
though, to be fair.
He said, with utmost
Gets hot
certainty.
enough.
He couldn't look. He wanted his first sight to be the inner sanctum of the Imperial Palace, the one his father had spoken of with such reverence. I look to the future. The grey dust of today's terror is the past. That was what he had told his companions. When they asked why he closed his eyes, they smiled at his words. Horrors had a way with men. His self-deprecating jokes went down.
Wait.
with hearty chuckles.
Wait, excuse me? Let's hear that again.
Way with men. Closed his eyes. They smiled at his words. Horrors had a way with men. His self-deprecating
Horus had a way
jokes
with
went
men.
down
I
with
agree.
hearty
He
chuckles.
definitely had a way with
And
men,
yet
in
he
fact.
was conscious to be kinder.
Oh,
his
yes.
friends. He resisted looking out at the port views as the vessel shook upon re-entry.
That man,
Instead, staring to meet the four
that
companions.
man was a
beside
man's
him.
man, let me tell you.
I want to
Oh,
see what will be, not what has been, said Horus. Terra is old and used up, but it will be great again. The palace of the Emperor is the center of this change. From it, authority shall spread, uniting mankind as one people for the first time in thousands of years. Why would I look upon the ruin of what is now?
What? I'm
But
just
one
talking
day
about his
the world
oratory
shall
skills,
live again,
guys. Like his
and thrill
way
to
with
new life
words,
will
his diplomacy level. I mean, let's be honest here. Horus here he's known for the way he speaks, his way with words, you know. The way he works with his mouth, especially, you know, he's so great at it, you know. That's all I'm saying, right? It's, you know, that's all it is, right? You know, you diplomat, pure and simple.
Earned to it by the efforts of the highest power. When my father's work
So
is
true.
done, and all of old Earth's glories are restored, then I shall look upon it fully. The roar of the engines quieted, as an altogether different wave of noise grew. The sounds of millions cheering. They love you, my lord, they love you, said one of his companions.
He's a real giver, exactly. He
They do
is.
not know
He
me,
gives to his men
said
every day.
Horus.
And they
The smile
give
began to
so much
fade
back
with
to him, let me
reasons
tell
to
you.
him. The four
So
companions
fucking much.
began to gently drag him down the gangplank.
I jest, guys, I jest.
Open
I'm sorry.
your
I'm sorry.
eyes. One of the companions whispered in his ear. Horus opened them, and for what he thought was boasting now became clear modesty. The Imperial Palace. The roar of the crowd in their millions, strewn across the half-constructed wonder. This was his father's, the Emperor's vision, and it was glorious. It is overweening, said his second companion. His understanding of history's flow is simplistic, and his project will fall. If it does, it will fall and rise again, as all things fall and rise.
That looks
Said the
fucked.
third.
Oh my god.
It is beautiful, said the fourth. The first said nothing. Horus looked upon them and couldn't recall their names. The first had a warrior's ugliness, pitted and battered, his nose flat, shaved head scarred, forever on the edge of violence. The second was a scholar, waspish in temperament. Heterochromatic
Waspish.
eyes looked calculatingly upon everything. His face shifted into uncertain shapes beyond the human form. The third was
God.
heavier than the rest, fully fleshed and jolly. He had flakes of skin at the corner of his mouth, and red rims around his eyes displayed an imbalance in his humours. The fourth distracted him, slipping his slender hand back into Horus's own, and leading him deeper into the palace. "My brother, my lord," he laughed. This one wore his hair in elaborate knots, and coloured his cheeks. His eyes were bright
God.
with pleasure. "They adore you," he said. Horus and his companions walked a gleaming amber road, passing sculptures and art the height of what human
You know, yeah, I mean, I could definitely see, like, a really, really strong case for, like, Horus unironically falling for Slaanesh, though. All jokes aside, Slaanesh, you know, because he does want to be, like, praised, right? He is, like, he really does want that attention. Like, he is about that life. As much as he, like, you know, gets it in a way, that's kind of just, like, how he is, right? He really is all about that praise, that attention, right? And Slaanesh kind of promises him all that in some sick type of way. It's like an addiction to him in a way. He is just kind of a narcissist in a sense, I suppose. Yeah, narcissist vibes. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, like, and I guess Slaanesh really does just kind of like feed that. And given like 40k, and given just like how much you see on like Imperium worlds, for example, like with like governors, like planetary governors of hive cities and all that shit, so easy to see why so many people just fall to Slaanesh like fucking flies, because it's like, holy fuck, like, you know, excess in this world where there's nothing and you're eating fucking corpse starch, like, bruh, like, come on now, like, yeah, it makes sense, it really does make sense.
walked a gleaming amber road, passing the sculptures and art the height of what human hands could produce. It was a half-finished city, smothered in freezing
He's
air,
lost in the
and
sauce,
yet
he
it was
is, yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Horus strode towards
Again, all
the
jokes
throne
aside,
of
all
gold.
jokes aside,
And
like,
even though the
Slaanesh
being
does
upon
make
it
sense.
seemed to be but a man, and no gene-forged giant, he overfilled it, his presence spilling out in a blaze of light. So glaring, Horus had to narrow his eyes to keep
corpse
walking
star
forwards.
slander? Nah.
His four companions hung back, afraid.
Listen, we all know.
Though
We
they
all
had
know.
seen the Emperor before and borne his presence bravely, this time they trailed after Horus like frightened children. He lost respect for them, there and then, that they never fully recovered. This was a lie, and the truth. This was almost exactly as his memory recalled the day he set foot upon Terra. But his companions were different then. They were Chthonian men.
Right.
His first Mournival, perhaps the first mortal men of Chthоnia, to die of old age in generations. The
Damn.
cheers of the crowd soured in his eyes. Almighty Horus Lupercal, savior, unifier, hope of humanity. But he was
The
a
parade
weapon,
scene looked fucking sweet.
made by an oppressor. If his so-called father had commanded him, he would have killed every single one of them without a thought, and he would have made the massacre seem just as he had done for over 2 centuries. He looked around and saw nothing but arrogance, nothing but abasement to a god in waiting. "Can you not see what he is?" Horus shouted boldly. "He brings you slavery in the guise of liberation." But the words were not heard by the crowd. He could not affect the memory. Time is a river. It flows only where it can. It is bound by the laws as sure as that
The
of
smoked
gravity.
corpse starch is very
Horus cheatingly
tasty.
followed the path before like a man can return.
I feel like the whole like point behind the corpse starch, right, is that you don't openly just like tell people that's what it is, right? Like you tell them it's something else, right? Like, I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck you would tell them like it is. Like, I'm sure it's a very like, you know, like you eat it and you're probably like, yeah, this is fucking definitely what I'm eating. Like, you know what I mean? There can be no debate. Like, this is what it is. Like spam to a degree, like, you know what I mean? Or like, I guess like, I don't know, any other food where like you're eating it and you're like, oh yeah, like this is indistinguishably this food. Sausage meat, unironically, I mean, yeah, to a degree. You tell them it's healthy and nutritious, you just tell them it's like, I don't know, like pork. And then when they ask you what the fuck a pig is, you just like nod your head and walk away. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Of gravity. Horus cheatingly followed the path before like a man can return to the river's source.
It's mince.
And walk his length again.
Yeah, mince what?
It was only when he stepped out of the flow that father and son met again. Horus's spirit walked out of step with his former self. He looked through the back of his own head as his past and present moved out of synchronization. How naive he had been. How excited by this outpouring of affection. He had been taken in completely. He allowed himself to be angry about that. Horus watched his former self kneel and take the Emperor's pledge. How pitiful he looked then. War Master Horus looked up, while his weakling former self groveled in the light, his mouth split far wider than any humans could, evincing a reptilian smile. "Hello, father," he said. "It is not enough that you pursue me through metaphor and dreamscapes. Now you chase me down the roads of what has been," said the Emperor. "I will chase you where I must, father," he replied. His smile spread. "You sound tired." Snow whipped past Horus from the shadows of a forest, hidden on the edge of sight. Lupine shapes prowled behind him, panting hot breaths. Eyes of red, green, pink and blue shining from the shadows. A light grew, and Horus peered up at the man.
It's very unnatural.
He
Pink
saw
eyes?
three figures. A golden emperor, a man in pain holding back a great tide, and a corpse upon a throne. The War Master laughed and pushed back, drawing on the might of his allies. "I was weak. Now I am not," he said. The light dimmed. "The truth makes me strong. False strength derived from false truths," said the Emperor. "As you draw it, it eats you alive from inside.
What type of mushrooms do you guys think orcs taste like?
Lies as much as you wish.
Hallucinogenic ones? That's honestly, I'd have to agree with that, straight up. No bullshit? Yeah, probably. Probably. They probably taste like absolute shit. But eating them makes you feel a bit funky, you know what I mean? Like, probably. They probably got some medicinal properties behind them if you eat. I could imagine, you know, as fucked up as it is to say, you know, like, you guys remember that movie, oh shit, what's it called? District 9, you know that movie? And then the fucking, like, the South Africans there, they, like, eat the flesh of, like, the alien because they think it's gonna, like, give them powers or whatever the fuck. I bet you eating orc skin, like orc-like meat, probably, like, meat, I guess, like, flesh, right? Because they're a fungus. Probably has like medical properties. Honestly, it probably makes you feel pretty good. You know, probably boosts testosterone to a degree. You know, probably makes you feel virile. You know, I'd say so. Why shit.
Drag upon their lies as much as you wish. You are not strong enough to come against me.
I bet you eating orc flesh is like taking steroids.
And you're
just fucking roided out, bro. It's like Psycho, but instead of an inhalant, you just eat it.
The temple existed in no plan of the Vengeful Spirit.
They should look into that.
It was one of many changes the ship had undergone. As Horus's power grew,
makes you want to wall, exactly.
The War Master's
and then you
flagship
die.
left behind
Yeah.
no constraints of the materium.
Exactly.
Twisting itself away from its original form. To swirling patterns of shadow and warp taint. Pools of blood and desiccated scrolls that hurt to look at filled the chamber. Like the vessel,
You give the orc meat to like the Kriegsman.
To Abaddon's eyes.
You just fucking tell him to go
Shadows
eat
whispered
shit.
in Abaddon's ears, promising power, wealth and glory, as they probed his soul for weakness. Lesser men would succumb, but Ezekiel Abaddon had no weakness. Contempt armored him. His will
fair.
was a sword
Abaddon is
against the dark.
Pretty
It is a
flawed
throne
armory,
room
I'll be
fit for
honest.
the Lord of the primordial truth, said Leak. It is a prison, said Abaddon. He looked upon his father. Horus's face had swollen with power, its beauty lost beneath stretched skin. When awake, Horus still possessed the legendary charisma that made all men love him. It angered Abaddon to see him so changed, and tainted his love with pity. He hated how he was forbade from killing Leak. Horus rose to free us from one tyrant, not submit us to four. He fights with them. He will not be beholden to your masters.
I'm just saying though, like unironically, no bullshit. Like you guys laugh, right? But think about like how much meat and how much food potentially lies on the battlefield if you just simply eat the Xenos. You know what I mean? Now I'm not saying like, you know, because that's not the same as like, you know, fucking all the Xenos are good. Like you're literally, you know, they're like an animal, right? At that point, right? They're like livestock. So, you know, I mean, why not take advantage, right? They're dead anyway. I mean, if they taste good. Has anyone tried? Like, is it poison? Like, I mean, I'm sure if you cook it at a certain temperature, you know, when there's people literally starving to death and eating each other, you know, I'm sure eating the alien, that's arguably a lot better, right? Like, am I wrong here? Am I talking shit? I don't know.
He fights with them. He will not be beholden to your masters. Your certainty is weakness, said Abaddon. The War Master is not a slave, said Leak, making no effort to hide his condescension. He is the champion of the Four. The power of the Eightfold Path is his to command. I do not trust you, Apostle, replied Abaddon. I do not trust your words, or your faith, or your intentions. You have no idea.
Abaddon not trusting.
First Captain, Leak said.
Unimaginable.
What your father thinks or feels, you never will. Until you allow yourself to worship as he does, and open yourself to the Pantheon. Abaddon grunted dismissively. He thought to Dabin, when his father was on the brink of death, only to return stronger. Each time Horus fell, he came back. But now, each time he awoke from his dreamscape, he was diminished. Horus still believed himself master of his own destiny. To Abaddon, it was clear he no longer was. By running to the lodges and heeding Erebus, Abaddon bore some responsibility for that, and the thought prickled him. Oh, Abaddon, does your love for your father waver? Do you see him vulnerable, and you feel regard curdle into disgust?
Uh-oh.
He is not a weakling, I assure you. Abaddon turned so that he fully faced the Apostle. Speak so of the War Master again, and I shall kill you here.
Uh-oh.
Abaddon's body was on the precipice of violence. All it took was one command, one purge of these word-bearers, and his father could be whole. You would slaughter me, while I pay respect to your gene, sire, said Leak. I saved your life, First Captain. There is a cost to that. I saved yours too, if I recall. I owe you nothing. Abaddon bit back. Both Justerian and Leak's blade slave prepared for combat. The tension
The classic
thick.
Erebus did nothing
Abaddon
wrong comment.
swallowed his
Naturally.
hate, and the room retracted its claws.
Naturally.
When will he wake? Abaddon asked.
There surely can't be
does
people
not
that
sleep,
believe that, right? That's
said
got to be
Leak.
like some heretical
Horus's
nonsense that people
affinity with
spread.
the warp grows by the hour. His power swells. Leak clasped a strange staff in front of him and bowed his head. Pray with me, for Horus speaks to the Emperor. An hour passed before Leak raised his head. He returns to us, Leak whispered.
Those helmets
The
look
light
fucking
circle
wild,
reached his
man.
head.
I will say, like, what do you guys think about this helmet design straight up? Like, I don't know, man. I think as like in terms of like a fucking freaky, like, this is meant to like scare the ever living shit out of you helmet in the night. Like, yeah, this does it. You know what I mean? It's literally just like, it's like a half metal, half skin helmet. And I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it's a mouth, you know? It's an actual model. Damn. What's the mouth for? I don't know. Is the mouth actually like, you know, is this just him? You know what I mean? Like, is the armor him now at this point? Is that how it works? Goddamn. Chaotic and I hate it? Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I don't know, it looks freaky as fuck. I think if it's meant to just look freaky, but you're right, there is a lot going on. You know? That's just his face? That's kind of what I thought, yeah. So this is how he like, yeah, okay. Talks and shit now. Weird. So does he have like a double face? Like, does he have like a facial structure behind that helmet still? Or is it just like, there's nothing left and that's just how it is?
He returns to us, Leak whispered. The light circling Horus burst apart in flickers of witchfire.
Not anymore?
Later,
Okay.
Horus stirred. His eyelids flickered like those of a stupefied man coming around, showing only whites and refusing to open fully. Horus. Abaddon moved to his father. Leak's hand shot out and grasped his forearm. Do not touch him, he hissed. Horus mewed, pawing at the seat arms for support. Father, said Abaddon, appalled by the display of weakness. Horus held up his hands to silence his son. I am well, my son. Do not be afraid, said Horus. You disgrace yourself with your fretting, first captain. Nothing ails me. Far from it. He lied. Abaddon couldn't mask his disgust, but it faded as the strength returned to Horus. He stood tall and proud, and finally Abaddon thought, there was the future emperor of mankind.
Oh yeah?
Why do
there
you
he
disturb
is.
my meditations? Why are you not on your ship, Abaddon? Said the War Master. I wish to see you myself, my lord, said Abaddon. Energy beat upon him from Horus's engorged soul. Kneel, it demanded. Kneel before me. Abaddon would not kneel. I wanted to look on your face with my own eyes. Abaddon continued. You wait too long, father. Your army stand ready for your command. Everything is in place. All resistance has been purged from Terra's orbits. The bombardment proceeds as you ordered. Terra burns, my lord. But we wait here. We give our enemies time. We give them strength. Again, the word kneel screamed in Abaddon's head. His muscles strained, but he would not kneel. We are not yet gathered, said Horus. Such power was contained in his words it scalded Abaddon's soul. You push at the boundaries of your authority, my son. Once Horus valued nothing more than the counsel of his Mournival, and now it was sycophants and dark gods that held his ear. Abaddon looked into his father's eyes, and feared he witnessed the bonfire of Horus's soul consumed. It was too terrible a sight to endure.
You almost see like the problem with the Mournivals like straight up like to a T at that point, right? Because it's like, you know, before the change, they had every opportunity to maybe like talk with their Primarch, to maybe like talk about problems, to talk about their thoughts kind of thing. And now it's kind of like, nah, there isn't going to be any counsel being like taken. So I feel like it's just like breeding dissent upon dissent. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Horus already went rogue, all the traitors already went rogue, but now there's going to be dissent already within these legions, these traitor legions, and then that's going to lead to further dissent, and I think that's where you start to see like different like individual war bands of chaos like starting to spring up too, right? Yeah, it's very interesting to see like just how it all starts to come to fruition here. Horus straight tweaking, yeah, Horus is pretty fucking nuts at this point. I feel like he definitely should be pushing the advantage, as Abaddon says. Again, if you've won the orbital battle, you're bombing them into submission. Yeah, you have to land forces immediately before they can start reinforcing. Take it as quick as you can, I feel like.
Of Horus's soul.
Horus is becoming the Warhammer 40k? Yeah, he is.
A sight to endure. But he held his father's polluted gaze. Horus suddenly moved down from his throne dais, his vast bulk pushing past the lesser beings at his feet. Mortarion is late, growled Horus. Brothers, said Dawn, Captain General, Lord Malcador. The situation deteriorates, said Sanguinius. It does, said Dawn grimly.
Oh
As he
god.
approached, a small-scale hololith of the solar system blinked on. The last pockets of resistance on Luna fell 2 days ago. All of our orbital forts and the sky fortresses adapted for the orbital plates are taken or destroyed. Horus has complete command of near-Terran void space. We are cut off, said Dawn. The war within the solar system had gone better and worse by predictions. Dawn could rely upon the arrogance of Perturabo, but now they fought Horus. We cannot
Interesting.
rely on the same tricks twice. Neither can the enemy, said Jagatai Khan. Here we are up against the truth of will, continued Dawn. No more running, no more maneuvering. It is time for stone and steel to speak. You sound eager for the fight, said Sanguinius. Even the wind grows tired of running, said the Khan. Horus's armies are.
I feel like Doran honestly probably just has like the battle shits or something like that, bro. He's like, no, man, I've just been, I've had the runs for 3 weeks, you know, waiting for this fucking battle to get on. I need it to be over, bro. Like he's nervous, you know. That's all it is in reality.
And grows tired of
No,
running,
I jest,
said
of course.
the Khan. Horus's armies are, said Dawn. He paused, as if he could not quite believe what he was about to say. A flicker of uncertainty passed behind his eyes. They are almost incalculable in size.
Doran's like,
There are
fuck,
representatives
it's over.
from every traitor legion within the
I'm in
solar
charge of this
system.
defense, and
He
bros, it's
commands
not looking
thousands
good.
of regiments of traitor soldiery.
We are so
Hundreds
cooked.
of knightly houses, dozens of Taito legios, which though they were diminished at Beta Garman, he inclined his head to Sanguinius. Still outnumber our own. Now the inner system blockade has been swept aside. The united forces of the Dark Mechanicum are heading for Terra.
Oh,
We are beset on all sides. Throughout all this war, one thing has concerned me. Why this rush? Why does Horus speed to confront us? Were I to conduct this war, I would have delayed. Horus has left too many of our forces intact behind him. His initial strikes at Istvan and Kalth drew us into disarray, and weakened the loyalist legions. But we retain billions of men under arms, from hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
of untouched systems.
I suppose.
He spent little time securing his conquests. I saw early a pattern emerging from his so-called dark compliances. The planets he invaded were chosen deliberately to supply his advance. This was no war of conquest. Everything he did was to facilitate this rush for Terra. While we
Which does make sense. I mean, that's theoretically what you would want to do, right? Again, when you're talking about an empire as vast as the Imperium, fuck taking land and holding it, because you're still always going to be at war with the Imperium. It's just going to be a forever war at that point. You know, technically it's not a bad plan. Like, rush to Terra as quick as you can, take on the leadership as much as you can, and from there try to assume command, right? That's a good plan. That's very, very sound. I think that's the best way to do it, straight up. Like, I don't think there is any other way you could, like, you're not going to consolidate the Imperium, like, you know what I mean? Like, reconsolidate the Imperium. It's just not going to happen in a good amount of time. Like, I don't think, you know, you're not going to take on billions, as they say, of men, and from there, like, hold that territory. No, you just need to take, like, the government, do a government change, basically. That's kind of what it is, right?
Everything he did was to facilitate this rush for Terra. While we reeled from his treachery, he could have redoubled his efforts to finish Guilliman off. Instead, he left Lorgar and Angron to fumble the attempt. Now he is here. with
That's
Guilliman
true.
at
That
his
was an
back.
oversight.
And yet, even now, he could win this war at a single command. Dawn paused. He does not. A new voice entered in. Horus wages a war
To
that
fumble
goes
the
beyond
attempt
the
was
material realm.
pretty apt, I will say.
You cannot understand, because the matters of the spirit were not given to you to understand by your father. I could explain them at length, and you most of all would never comprehend. Do you not think if it were possible that I or your father could have explained them already, that you would have been told of the threat in the warp from the very beginning? I deeply regret that it was not done, said Dawn. The results would have been disastrous.
Why didn't Horus just
believe
nuke
me.
Terra? I think he has
Said
been, to be
Malcolm.
honest with you.
Not telling us was arguably worse,
I think more than a few
Said Dawn.
nukes were fired at Terra, actually.
said Malkador softly. Chaos is all corrupting. It cannot be safely explained. Had they all been told, young and vulnerable as they were, perhaps more of them would have fallen. Only one was given the truth. Who, Malcador would not say. The 3 Primarchs protested. Do not think for one moment that your trial would have been any less arduous had you known in advance, said Malcador. I know you have been tested. Malcador looked to Sanguinius. There is space in the hells of the gods for more than one Red Angel. Sanguinius looked hurt. Malcador, said Dawn evenly. You overstep yourself. The Imperial Regent sank back into himself with an audible sigh. I am sorry. These are testing
You should be,
times.
Malcador.
Even I have limits. You know that all of you are as good as sons to me. I merely seek to make a point. He looked to Sanguinius. Forgive me. I understand, Sanguinius said. Peace, uncle.
I feel like that little conversation with Malcador and these Primarchs here, I feel like that's more like attention and more like comforting dialogue than we have ever seen between the Emperor and anyone else, straight up. Just in what he said, you boys are like sons to me. I forgive me, right? I'm sorry, right? Actually apologizing. It's okay, uncle. You know what I mean? Actually seems pretty endearing, that conversation. And I feel like any other conversation you feel or you see between the Emperor and his kids, it's more just to the point, a lot less endearing, not really quite, not as touching, I guess, let's say, if you will. There are moments, but it's also kind of he doesn't really have any regard for them either. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
I understand, Sanguinius said.
Malcador's pretty sick.
Uncle. This was a war for humanity's survival. A battle in the material and immaterium. It was the reason Terra still stood. For it was not enough to destroy humanity's birthplace. Horus had to kill the Emperor. Their father's survival was victory. And whilst the Emperor and Horus battled in the warp, the Angel, the Praetorian and the Warhawk would hold Terra. Guilliman's armada was coming, but they did not know when. For now, they were on their own. If Terra fell, they could escort the Emperor to the Phalanx, hidden in system by Admiral Sukasen.
Interesting.
If it called for it, 3 Primarchs, 3 legions, and billions would die, so long as the dream lived. Horus brought most of his armies here.
So they had the Phalanx hidden in system, and you're telling me they didn't utilize that shit? What the fuck? Now, I get it, right? Wait until the opportunity arises, whatever have you, right? But the Phalanx, come on now, that shit could have definitely aided and abetted their forces for sure. You know what I mean? I feel like anytime that thing makes an appearance, it just kind of for lack of a better word, destroys everything, I mean, at least in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2, that shit is insane, right? I don't know.
Rabute's forces are formidable, said Sanguinius. When I left him...
Should have launched at the Vengeful Spirit. I feel like it could have absolutely just 1v fucking everything, the fleet that they had there.
When he arrives, it'll be at the head of a force the near match of Horus.
The Vengeful Spirit and its fleet would have decimated it. See, I disagree. I feel like the Phalanx, along with the forces they had in system, before all their shit got decimated, right? Because now it's too late, right? Now of course, obviously, if you just sent the Phalanx out there by itself, it would die, right? It would just fucking die. But if you actually had supporting elements around it, yeah, it might have actually been able to fucking hold a little bit, But yeah, you waited till all your other assets were annihilated. So yeah, now it's not really going to do anything.
It'll be at the head of a force the near match of Horus. What of the others? Is there any word from the wolf or the raven? Asked Jagatai. Urus, the lion and Korax live. Dawn's lip curled at the mention of Leman Russ, Primarch of the Space Wolves. They lived, but they would not affect the outcome of this battle. In fact, the Death Guard and Thousand Suns were still yet to be seen. Could Mortarion have had a change of heart? Wondered Sanguinius aloud. I am certain few of our brothers expected to find themselves allied with demons. Mortarion least of all. You know how much he hates the warp. Dawn's eyes narrowed. He thought momentarily of Alpharius. He had spoken with Dawn, and what he said could have been interpreted as contrition. Dawn had not listened, and had slain Alfarius at Pluto, a fact he still kept from his brothers. None of them will change, Dawn said. They are corrupt, traitorous, all of them. We cannot save them. They do not deserve saving.
They don't deserve saving,
in the ruins of Prospero.
They don't, though, to be fair. They really don't.
His hatred of the Emperor goes deep. He is fixated on our father's death. He will come. Magnus was with the War Master. Though his soul was weakened, Malcador could sense him. So, 6 against 3, repeated Sanguinius, with 2 more coming. There are more of you than you think, said Malcador. A sly look crept across his face. Vulcan lives. The shock was visible on Sanguinius, Dawn and Khan's face. Sanguinius protested. He had seen his brother's corpse upon Macragge.
Yeah, well, guess what? He can't die, idiot.
Gift, Malcador explained. And Vulcan was far more durable than imagined. Valdor confirmed.
Each Primarch had a unique gift, and Vulcan just doesn't give a fuck. Vulcan says no to death. Straight up. Doesn't give a shit.
Valdor explained. And Vulcan was far more durable.
Like plain and simple.
Valdor confirmed that the Lord of Drake stood before the golden throne, and the Webway gate.
Little OP, but it is what it is.
Ready to enact his unique role should the time come. The Khan began to laugh. Valdor continued, illuminating the missing pieces of the picture in the Primarch's mind. The Webway project, the Emperor's dream to take humanity within its tunnels, to shield them from chaos forever. And Magnus's folly, the destruction of his defenses forever murdering that salvation. Over 90% of the custodian's corpses lay within that
holy
realm,
shit.
having fallen for nothing.
Yeah.
Should the Emperor weaken, and the now corrupted gate break open to hell itself, Vulcan stood alone. What good can one Primarch do against all the evil of the warp?
He'll come back. Don't worry.
Malcador shrugged. What indeed?
After his 180-second cooldown is over,
So
he'll come right back. Don't worry.
The Khan leaned down to peer closely at Malcador. You are old, but you are cunning. For all your signs of frailty, Sigillite, he said. Tell me now that you have something resembling a plan, that your agents in grey work for our victory, that your many wheels within wheels spin still to your design. My knights errant are gone, said Malcador. Their purpose and mission are elsewhere. You are the plan, you 3. As of this moment, you know everything there is to know. Thank you, Malcador.
Yeah, literally Colton, exactly. 2 supposedly equal gifts the Primarchs got. Fucking immortality and being good with spreadsheets. Like, bro, exactly. Like, there's, listen, logistic, prowess, that's good, right? Immortality is such a fucking, that's such a, a god tier, like boon to just have, you know what I mean? Like, immortality as just, a base, with no, what's the word, I guess, condition to it, that's kind of fucking insane. Maybe that's crazy talk, but I just feel like some of these things definitely are not like the others. You know what I mean? Holy shit.
You know everything there is to know. Thank you, Malcador.
Immortality is the worst punishment in the Christian faith.
Focus.
Yeah, but
he brought
in the context of 40k, you can't be demon food. Ever.
It is time to discuss the practicalities of our survival. Always, his brothers sought to ground him, Sanguinius thought, as he flew above the Imperial Palace. Flight was the last pleasure left to him. He hoped Horus could see him beneath munitions bursting on the Aegis, and know he could not be touched. The palace stretched beneath Sanguinius, immense in scale, almost impossible to grasp as a whole. Dawn's defenses came close to matching the Emperor's vision in grandeur. The defense resources alone equaled in value the combined wealth of dozens of lesser empires. In places, the walls were stepped with multiple battlements, marching up the outside. Hundreds and hundreds of towers punctuated its length, many topped with orbital batteries the size of hills. Cold winter winds blew from the heart of Eurasia that swept over Sanguinius's wings as he flew past the Lion's Gate spaceport. Sanguinius every time was overcome by the scale of his father's vision, and now that vision was ugly. Brutal by the fortification.
A couple extra craters in that vision, I feel like, unfortunately.
His vision swam until he looked down again. He saw a bloated mass. Cities built upon cities in a towering hellscape of oppression. What recognizable landmarks were swallowed by Gothic-like structures, blanketed in a haze of pollutants. This was a city in a time of only war. Sanguinius's mind returned to the present, and he let out a cry. He fell uncontrolled before mastering himself, and stretched out his wings again to catch the winds. More often his mind had drifted into visions, and all of them pointed to a future far darker than the past. Within minutes the second spaceport was behind him. Sanguinius wore his helmet, to mollify his brother rather than for safety.
Immortality also has its downsides. I agree, immortality also has its downsides, don't get me wrong, right? But as long as, like, you know, like what's the conditions around Vulcan's immortality, right? Like, when he comes back to life, does he come back to life at his physical body? Can his body get destroyed? You know what I'm saying? If that happens, what happens then, you know? Like, if you were to burn Vulcan's body, would he still come back, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? How does that work, you know? Genuine question, genuine question. Because my thoughts are, right, he regenerates where he died. Now, is that like... Now, when you say where he died, do you mean like the physical point where he died? Or like the subspace of where he died, right? Like, because, like, you know, if you died on a ship and that ship technically warp traveled away, do you still resurrect on that ship? Or are you just fucking in space, like, fucking, like, writhing now? You know what I mean? Holy shit. Wherever he was last alive? Okay, that's fair. And if your body gets destroyed... Oh, he was atomized by Magnus, came back right in front of him. Right. So he just fucking right in front of him. Okay. That makes sense.
To mollify his brother rather than for safety, but it gave him access to the battleplate systems. Gauges on the faceplate display put his airspeed at well over 100 kilometers an hour.
Jesus.
He smiled for the pleasure of it, and reluctantly began to check his speed. He went into a broad spiral, circling down towards the southern tower of a gate straddling the daylight wall, that section of the Eternity Wall that faced east, into the rising sun. "How was your flight?" said Ralderon, first captain of the Blood Angels Legion, and Sanguinius' equerry. "The winds of Himalaya always remind me of home," Sanguinius said. "The Wind River on Bar Secundus, where I first tested my wings. The speeds I could attain there." He let the sentence die. Sanguinius had rarely spoken of Bar since Sickness Prime. Sensing unease in his lord, Ralderon introduced Captain Thane of the 22nd Company, Imperial Fists. "Your company..."
Each time he dies, his respawn countdown gets shorter?
Said Sanguinius. "It is, my lord," replied Thane. "Do you live up to your name?" asked the angel. "We do, my lord," said Thane proudly. "There are no better builders in my legion than our chapter, and my company is among the best." Sanguinius looked out beyond the walls, to the miles of trenchwork and fortification spread before them. He saw the throng of conscripts, the mortal men and women who would occupy this buffer. It was a death sentence. Beyond the protection of the Aegis shield, that even 100%. Now rippled with munitions, he only saw destruction and fire. The rest of Terra burned.
There is nothing they can give you to make that job worth it.
Sanguinius unclasped his golden helm and lifted it from his face. His shining hair unwound and flew like a banner. The cold wind should have been refreshing, but it carried the smell of burning and despair. "My lord," Ralderon gestured hesitantly.
Is that
to his
iron you can
face.
taste? Weird.
Sanguinius reached up and touched his cheek. As he brought his fingers away, he saw that they glistened with tears. He had not realized he was crying. "Why do you weep, my lord?" asked Ralderon. "I cry for the price of victory, my son," said Sanguinius. He spent the rest of the day inspecting the defenses of the Daylight Wall. So many who donned the Blood Angel's colours were new. Speed inducted by the gene vaults on Luna, Terrans who had never even seen Baal. So many faces he did not recognize. "Where are you?" said the Praetorian. "I am on the walls."
Wouldn't want to be immortal and captured by the Dark Elder.
Gate.
I feel like, again, right, like, given the context of what immortality for him means, I feel like he could definitely just, like, for lack of a better word, like, no clip out of that shit, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he would definitely, like, if they killed him once, like, he would just fucking, like, I don't know. I feel like he would definitely be able to just, like, again, come out of that. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Seems like he's got some beef behind him, maybe. And he is also Vulcan, so he's just fucking gigantic also. Like, I don't know how you keep Vulcan contained, to be fair. Vulcan got his DNA structure disassembled with a Giga spell, never before seen, and completely perplexed Magnus. That was a funny moment for me while listening to the audiobook. Oh, shit. He got his DNA structure disassembled. And he still came back from it. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like, again, he's literally got, like, no clip in a sense, right?
Praetorian.
You say anything about killing him? I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
South of the Helios Gate, said Sanguinius. Dawn made a noise of annoyance. "What are you doing all the way out there?" "The Dawn's tower is the most easterly," Sanguinius said, ignoring his brother's irritation. The name should have gone to the tower at the easterlymost point of daylight.
Imagine becoming a space marine immediately fighting demons on the walls of Terra. Yeah, that would fucking suck.
"There is nothing to occupy myself with.
You're actually 10th Company, you're a scout.
But there is little to oversee.
Your first assignment?
Captain Thane has done an exemplary
wall
job.
defense on Terra.
Of the 22nd, Dawn said. "He is a good man. I teach my sons that nothing is worth doing if not done right. You should not put yourself at risk, brother. Stay off the wall," said Dawn. "I am perfectly safe. We cannot hide in the Bab Bastion until Horus drags us out," Sanguinius replied. This was not the way Sanguinius, or especially the Khan, wished to fight. This was Dawn's war now. The waiting, the standing firm, the overall mind game of sieger and besieged. And Sanguinius chafed at it. "The Fabricator General wishes to speak with me," Dawn said. "I shall tell him you are coming. Perhaps then he will leave me alone. Zagreus Kane is loyal to the Imperium, committed to the alliance of Terra and Mars, and a valuable asset of our father. I am sure he is a genius in his own field of expertise, but he is no general." The communication cut off. "My brother," said Sanguinius to himself, "is growing curt." Abaddon, Layak, Horus Aximand, Tormageddon and Falcus Kyber approached Horus, like the War Master himself. The throne room looked the same, and yet changed. On the surface, not much had altered. The banners had changed along with their allegiance, but the same decisions were made there. The same tables and chairs furnished the room. The real transformation was less obvious. It lingered out of sight, an unmistakable taint that hung over the hall. Horus rose from his throne, and Abaddon saw a glimpse of the man he knew. But his presence was such that the Mournival was able to remain standing, while Layak freely knelt. Horus had always possessed a preternatural charisma, but this was something else. A dark majesty that demanded all the universe grovel before it. "My brothers," Horus commanded, "hearken to me." One by one, cones of hololithic projection light leapt into being around the court, turning
All
the
can be
shadows
made into a
grey
nice
and filling
sofa?
the
Oh, no
space with
doubt.
Phantoms. Angron
He'd be
and
very, very,
Fulgrim
like,
transformed beyond.
that'd be a huge fucking sofa, dude. That'd be more like a futon. Vulcan be more like a pullout, you know? He wouldn't be just like a normal sofa. Like, damn, dude. He's got some size to him. Imagine being local militia I recruited yesterday and I go fight demons. Yeah, no, I'm good. Especially like, yeah, you see what's happening to Terra. You know, your shit's getting like, you're getting orbitally bombarded. You got like literally demons like spawning underneath of fucking Terra itself, underneath the ground, for fuck's sake. You know, you're worried about like an actual like invasion from the goddamn skies. there's a lot to worry about, man. And yeah, militia would not be fun at all. Like everything you're fighting, literally everything you're fighting is a tier bigger than you. You know, that's it. Like you're done for.
Filling the space with phantoms, Angron and Fulgrim transformed beyond the limitations of the human form. Perturabo, the Lord of Iron. Unlike his brothers, he retained his original form, too stubborn to give himself over to worship as they had. Following Perturabo, Magnus the Red appeared, manifesting as a psychic projection that lent him a form superior to the hololithic phantoms. When he walked, the air moved. Last was Kelbohal, fabricator of the Dark Mechanicum, and still missing Mortarion and his Death Guard. A last supper of arch-traitors submitted to their Warmaster, and began to discuss the assault on
Where the fuck is Mortarion at this point? Is he just like...
You spoke of...
He just like gone? Doesn't care?
said Fulgrim.
Can't be bothered?
Tell, oh glowering, silky brother, where they are.
The shields cannot be brought down from outside,
said Perturabo, continuing his lecture as if Fulgrim had not spoken.
The palace possesses an unrivaled void network consisting of multiple layers of lenticular fields. These differ from a standard voidal energy bubble, which forms a single skin defense around its ward in spherical or hemispherical configuration. The technology required to project stable lensing is exceedingly difficult to replicate. And at
He's
this
there,
scale,
he's just spreading
practically
plagues?
Yet following
So he's there, he's just not like right there kind of thing. He's not like present at that meeting, let's call it.
difficult to replicate.
That makes
And at this
sense.
scale, practically impossible. Yet following the old patterns, the Mechanicum succeeded. The palace Aegis networks consist of discrete elements, like a wall of shields, each an energy lens, each one overlapping the others enough that failure on the part of one reveals only a small hole, directly blocked below. By the time the lower lenses covering the hole are also brought down,
Not
the
all of
first
Terra
will
is
be
war
raised
protected,
again.
only the palace?
There
Yeah.
are legions of Mechanicum adepts laboring beneath the palace to keep the shields in operation.
Like you gotta worry about demons and like shit opening up
protect against
pretty much
failures
everywhere
at the full
still.
systemic levels. Power is provided by advanced thermal conversion beneath the palace itself. It is a low yield, but stable energy source, and cannot be upset by magnetic frequency harmonics as a plasma reactor might be. The power supply cannot be directly targeted. Only the destruction of the planet itself would be sufficient to interrupt the flow of energy from the palace vaults to the Aegis.
Then let us sit down and lead our warriors in a glorious charge against the walls,
growled Angron.
That
Jesus.
would result in your total destruction, either on descent or on the ground. Be patient, brother. You will have your glory. The shields cannot be broken. They cannot be starved of power.
You know, I don't know why they said anything. Like, honestly, they're just, like, lessening the ammo of the defenders at that point. Fucking send Angron in there, dude. It's no fucking loss. Like, let's be real. Like, Angron, I'm sure, will land. All of his legion will be eradicated, which, whatever. But Angron will get to the ground, at least. And when he does, I mean, shit, that's going to be a problem for them. You know? It's a waste of ammunition, you know? You guys can take advantage of that in some way or another, I'm sure.
You will have your glory. The shields cannot be broken. They cannot be starved of power, but they can be weakened. This sequence depicts a rare failure. Within the bombardment pattern, I concealed several distinct targeting cycles to test various aspects of the Aegis. Modulation, raising speed, power absorption and displacement, displacement response time, displacement triggering velocity and others. Consolidation datasets fall into false, idealistic patterns.
Angron has wings now? Like, yeah, he does. Like, that motherfucker's a
man.
menace at this point. Like, he'll get to the ground, and he'll fuck up whatever is there. Like,
Several shells and a volley of
I'd still send
fire
him.
sparked off the shields. Suddenly,
and what is he
a
gonna
gap
do, die?
opened
Like,
over the
no.
tower, exposing it to fire from orbit that quickly toppled it.
Alas, this small result was achieved only due to an isolated flaw in that part of the network. Augury readings suggest a chain failure in 3 series of void generatoria, quickly rectified.
Not so perfect, eh, Kelbohal?
Okay, buddy.
Note how quickly the shield is replaced.
Right.
Perturabo continued. The explosions changed back to toothless rounds of fire, flattened on the shields.
Then, what are you proposing?
Growled Angron. His head shook, his face twitched, but he held his temper. His display of control was impressive.
From this response time, and the other measurements provided to me from the main fleet, I have determined that the voids can be weakened sufficiently to allow passage of medium to low velocity objects, around the fringe only.
Our brother has calculated a bombardment pattern of surpassing genius,
said Horus. For a moment, Perturabo's stolid expression showed a glint of pride.
We will unleash all of our fleet's firepower at these points.
The vid feed disappeared, replaced by a wider angle, a tri-view of the entire palace. Equally spaced red markers blinked on all 8 principal winds of the compass.
The precision of...
I feel like looking at like a map like this really does not do justice to just how big a fucking like Hive City on Terra would look like especially the palace here would look like goddamn dude. I mean, you can see like different districts here, like you have the Lionsgate Spaceport, Europa there, Sanctus, Twilight, the Eternity Wall itself, Indictus Gate, all the different districts, Daylight, Wall Spaceport, Anterior, okay. The Eternity Wall Spaceport and the Lionsgate Spaceport. Yeah, so you got 2 different spaceports there. Interesting, but it definitely does not give credence to just how fucking big this place is. And then you have the ultimate wall back here. Very cool.
Space red markers blink.
Oh, and then like the exterior wall. So you have exterior walls, the ultimate wall here, Lionsgate wall, and then like outer walls here as well. Interesting.
And all 8 principal winds of the compass.
It is straight up like a
The
medieval
precision
fort.
of Perturabo's attack will cause a serial weakening of the shield wall.
Then it can be bombed,
said Fulgrim.
Fulgrim, I swear to fuck.
Bombardment will not penetrate the final layer. Rapid high
Motherfucker.
mass munitions or 0 to mass light speed energy emissions will still be displaced. However, the final Aegis layer will be weakened sufficiently to allow a 70% chance of successful passage to attack craft traveling at 150 kilometers an hour or lower.
We can attack directly. What fine news.
Fulgrim clapped with glee.
I shall prepare my squadrons at once.
Perturabo nodded.
Attack ships should prioritize void shield projection blisters and anti-ship weaponry towers, with secondary emphasis on anti-aircraft emplacements. Voids have one true vulnerability, that their projecting elements must be exposed. A large number are mounted on the wall itself. I predict an attrition rate of 45% attack ships lost, minimum.
You know,
However,
that's not
though the
bad.
defenses are formidable, we shall darken the sky with such numbers, they will despair.
I will prepare my warriors,
Bellowed Angron.
That brings us to the problem of the Neverborn.
Perturabo said. He paused.
Who will
Like 45% is obviously an abysmal loss rate, but like in this context, like I'm surprised it isn't like 70 or 80%. Like they're attacking Terra here. You know what I mean? Like they're attacking the palace itself. I'm surprised it's only 45%. I think that's actually miraculously good. Like just under half? Yeah, fuck. To get to the ground, not bad at all.
problem of the Neverborn?
Perturabo said. He paused.
Who will tell him?
You must find patience, my brother.
Magnus said to Angron.
The warp is in turmoil around Terra, but no demon may set foot there. Our father's power holds back the tides of the Empyrean. If you, I, or Fulgrim were to attempt a landing, our souls would be torn from our bodies and likely obliterated.
Perturabo's genius shows us
dude.
the first cracks in Dawn's walls. We must force another. Every drop of blood spilled upon Terra's soil weakens our father's power. The second blow will quickly follow the first. Once our allies of the warp have access to the mortal sphere and the orbital defenses of Terra are crippled, then the legions shall attack.
There is a way to limit our father's power.
Magnus waved his hand, and a new image, far sharper than any hololith, appeared. Lines joined the 8 points together into an octid superimposed over the palace,
Center this upon the palace. Spill enough blood. Then and only then, Lord Angron, will Father's might be contained. And you may set foot safely upon Terra. Shortly after, all the legions of Neverborn, contained by eternity, shall march forth.
Sow the dragon's teeth, water the harvest with the blood of untold millions, and we shall come to you,
said Layak.
Damn,
quoting from
dude.
the obscure
There's a lot of
scriptures.
really like
It
famous
shall
people
be
voice acting
as
in this.
I decree.
You know,
Commanded
famous
Horus.
people, but yeah, you know, like popular people. I guess
Katsuhiro
acted
felt
in
his
this. This
legs
is really
would give
cool.
out. 12 hours of standing.
And then we got
The
naturally
transport
RP in
so
here again.
cramped
Was that?
that
Damn.
sitting was an impossibility. The stink of herd animals in fear was nauseating. The
Like
rat-
naturally RP is Horus, I believe, right? And who else do we have in here? I'm actually curious. Let me just read here. Who else do we have in here? Vox and the Void Warrior tier. I literally thought that was Warrior tier. I didn't want to like misname. I thought that was Warrior tier. That's so distinguishably Warrior tier. Damn. That's awesome to see. Okay, damn. You got everyone in this. This is fucking really
and
cool.
lowered. And finally he stepped into the light. An artificial day as the fires of hell rippled against the palace shield. Katsuhiro looked out to the thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands. The throng of humanity shoving through a monorail terminus. Katsuhiro could not see far, but the pressure of many people pushed at him from all directions.
Vox and the Void, naturally
Voices
RP,
shouted,
and fucking
wailed,
Warrior tier.
screamed,
All in
and
the same
begged in
video.
cacophonous profusion.
Oh.
Scribes, old warriors, algae farmers,
And Amber King, of course.
technicians, rich, poor, young, old. Every hue of skin and eye and hair present upon Terra was there. Every uniform and badge of occupation Katsuhiro had ever seen, all conscripted for the defense of the palace. Katsuhiro shook. Shock. Lack of food. Cold and the effort of standing upright for so many hours were each enough alone to upset his humors. Together they brought him close to collapse. A warm hand slipped around his side and pulled him close. Ordinarily, Katsuhiro would have recoiled from such unexpected intimacy, but now he welcomed it. A small, powerfully built man had him, shorter by
What
a
the
few
fuck?
centimeters than Katsuhiro. He had to look up to address him. He was filthy, and stank of oil and stale clothes. But his smile was genuine. "Cold, isn't it?" he said. "Enough to knock you down if you aren't used to it. Winter at the top of the world. The name's Doromek, from Baltisia."
Doromek,
Katsuhiro
yeah.
swallowed his distaste, and simply looked shook at Doromek's hand.
Why were they like showing, like that was like
He
Jerian,
said,
right?
"Dragon
Otherwise,
nations, eh?" said Doromek.
or is this some
"We've got to
random
find
guardsman
Mitch
that like
here and no
resembles
mistake.
Jerian, I
Tell
guess?
you what, let's get you sorted out. You want to get that bag strap off your neck." As Katsuhiro struck with the bag over his head, it had somehow gained weight since it had been hung there. The man continued talking.
That's
"You find
Jerian? Yeah,
tablets in
that's what I
there.
thought. I was like, what the
Recap
fuck?
tabs. Salt and gluconium energy blends. Take one of each. Chew them up. Just don't swallow them. It'll get the spit flowing in your mouth and make it easier for your body to process them. You
From a
hear me?"
Kane book cover? That's
Is
what I
there
thought.
water?
Yeah, yeah.
Katsuhiro asked. "Not yet," said the dirty little man. A hard-faced woman barged her way into their
Random
conversation.
guardsman, of course,
You
but
shut
that
up,
picture was
said the
Jerian.
woman.
It tripped me up. I was like,
"I
what?
don't like it if you talk.
Jerian.
I don't want the attention.
He's here.
But
Holy
someone
fuck.
has got to tell us what is going on," Katsuhiro protested. Another responded.
Could you imagine, like, that's like some extended universe shit? Like, Jerian was actually, like, you know, he was there. He saw the fucking Siege of Terra take place, bro. That would be some shit, bro. Like, Jerian's actually just, like, a goat, you know what I mean? Well, he is already a goat, but he's just, like, he's a triple goat, a double goat. You know? I mean, the amount of shit that, like, Jerian's already done, he's saved ass quite a few times, I will say, so...
"It's got to tell us what is going on," Katsuhiro protested. Another responded to this.
Kane uses
A man
Jerian to
even
lure
thinner
women?
than
Oh my
anyone
god.
else, who was cleaning his nails with a worn knife. "They don't have to tell you
Jerian's
anything,
about
my
10,000
friend.
years too late to be
Nobody
here.
does.
I know.
You're soldiers,"
But what if?
said the woman hastily. "There are things expected of you. Shutting up is one of them." "I am not a soldier," said Katsuhiro. "I am a third-grade enumerator for the 86th Nihon Nutrient Complex. said
Oh.
Katsuhiro. The woman shot him a grim smile. You're a soldier now, she said. Katsuhiro joined the rest of the motley group in similar uniforms as they were stuffed onto anti-gravitic trains. Katsuhiro was lucky enough to be pressed against a windowed compartment. He saw the great mountain of a spaceport, and a view of a city he had never seen for himself, but every man, woman and child on Terra knew. The artful spires and bridges he expected from the holocausts had gone, replaced by buildings more fit for war. Not all had changed. He glimpsed the soaring tower of Hegemon and the great dome of the Senatorum Imperialis, where giant machines stood guard. Fire, titans, glory and doom, all gone in a heartbeat, as the train plunged into a growing darkness. Katsuhiro passed a couple of nights in freezing warehouses, an interminable wait that ended without any warning, with an early waking, and they were packed onto another less luxurious train. All over the palace, weapons fired skyward.
It's not that rare for
Plasma,
people to travel through
shells,
time in
lasers,
Warhammer, to be
and
fair. Yeah,
rockets
it really
roared
isn't.
towards the War Master's
Like, it's not
fleet.
uncommon.
The
Especially with, like, the warp fuckery that we know, like, happens on the Siege of Terra, you know, and then you obviously have, like, you know, oh my god, what's his name? How am I forgetting his name right now? Necron boy, what's his name? Fucking, Trazyn. How am I forgetting that? Oh my god, how did I forget that for so long? Trazyn. You obviously have Trazyn as well. Yeah, you know, it's definitely potential for warp fuckery, for I guess even like hibernation, so to speak, suspension, so to speak. Yeah, stuff could definitely happen, you know. Jerian could be... Jerian's actually a plant, you know. He's actually old as fuck. He's old as dirt.
Shells, lasers and rockets roared towards the War Master's fleet. The counter barrage was so loud that no voice could
There
be
is
heard,
time travel going
and their
on during these
guiding
books. Oh
officials
my
were
god.
forced to resort to hand signals. Bitter winds and heavy snow smacked Katsuhiro in the face as he and his assigned regiment poured out and began the arduous walk towards the outer walls. Walls was almost too small.
Maybe we'll learn about that. That'd be kind of interesting if there's actual time travel going on in here.
No doubt housed millions. He and others stared at the Space Marines in crimson and amber plate. He had never seen the giants before, and to his dismay, realized they weren't joining them. Katsuhiro's ears were ringing as they passed across 3 entrenched lines. His conscript regiment stood sloppily before an exhausted-looking commander. Katsuhiro could barely hear his voice over the pounding of the guns. He gave the impression of being a man who had seen everything, and liked very little of it. "Is this it?" said the man miserably. "No officers. It's just me. Ghosts of old Earth. We're all gonna die." "Right,
Oh my god.
you lot," yelled their new officer over the thunder of the bombs and the moan of the wind. "My name is Janan. I'm an acting captain. Lucky me. That makes me
Acting
your
captain.
commander. Do what I say, or you'll get shot." He made an expression that could equally have been a scowl or a smile. "That is, I'm sorry to inform you, the full extent of my military training that is currently available under the circumstances. You're all now members of the Kushtan Naganda, one of the old 100 from Ind. Not that you're worthy of the honour, not that it matters anymore, anyway." The march to the first line began. Katsuhiro's dismay continued to rise, whilst never hitting the peak he expected. There seemed to be no end to how much fear he could feel. It surprised him he was still able to walk, or talk, or do anything, but he did. His terrified mind operating his limbs through a buzzing fog of terror.
I like how the human commander at this time too is like, he's talking about this in such like not like a dishonorable way, but in such like a nonchalant, non-caring way. Like, oh yeah, like you guys don't deserve the honor of the regiment, but guess what? It's not gonna fucking matter anyway, because, you know, we're probably all dead. So, you know, and it's not like the regiment exists anyway. There's no original members left. We all got firebombed, unfortunately. So, yeah, you know, and the fact that he's an acting captain as well, that means like, he didn't even get promoted. He literally just got like, you know, through process of elimination, he's told like, yeah, you're in charge now because everyone else is fucking dead. He probably didn't get like an official promotion or anything like that. It's just he is acting captain, even though he's probably like fucking 2 or 3 ranks underneath what he's supposed to be. It's kind of crazy to think about, you know?
He did, his terrified mind operating his limbs through a buzzing fog of terror. He felt numb inside and out, cold, like the ankle-deep snow slushing beneath his tread. "This ain't so good, is it?" said the thin man conversationally. "I just love being cannon fodder. Isn't that right, darling?" He shouted up at the woman from the station, who was a few ranks ahead. She scowled at him. "I wouldn't call her darling if I were you," said Doromek. "I know her kind, my friend. She'll kill you."
Whoa!
The thin man
You can't
snorted.
say that.
"I mean it," said Doromek.
Holy
It was
shit.
then that Katsuhiro realized they weren't just heading out to the front line. They were the front line. All manner of traitorous forces. Even the Space Marines would smash them first. It was then that he fully accepted that he was going to die. "You, talkative man." Janin strode out of the rain. "Yes, sir." Doromek gave a sly smile. The thin man, Runikan, apparently grinned. "I heard you, giving all these wretches the benefit of your wisdom. Are you a military man?" snapped Janin.
No.
"Don't lie to me. I can check. Save us the time and tell me now." "I was once," admitted Doromek. "Roll," Janin grunted. "Sniper. Then how come you weren't called up in the early drafts?" Janin's eyes narrowed.
I'm bad at my
Doromek
job.
shrugged. "Lucky, I guess." "Hiding, you mean? Well, your luck's run out. You're my new lieutenant. Congratulations." Doromek grinned at Katsuhiro as Janin stalked off in the mud. "That makes you my first sergeant," Doromek said with a tone of delight that Katsuhiro didn't feel. The regiment looked out across the trench. The storm was coming. Mercifully spared.
What a fucking crazy, like, way that they're promoting people now, and at this point, right? It's that desperate where it's like, hey, yeah, you know, anyone have any experience? Yeah, some, even though I'm a fucking deserter coward. Okay, cool, you're my lieutenant because I have fucking no one else. Okay, cool, I'm lieutenant. Well, I need a first sergeant. Hey, buddy, that has never been in the military before. You're gonna be my first sergeant. Why? Because I like you and because it's not gonna goddamn matter anyway. Okay, take the appointment. It's not even a promotion, it's an appointment, right? You're appointed this rank. You're not promoted to that rank, you're appointed that rank temporarily, right? It's not gonna be permanent, I promise.
And looked out across the trench. The storm was coming. Mercifully spared duty, Katsuhiro had fallen into a deep, sudden sleep atop a pile of sacks, just as soon as he'd found somewhere to hide. It was a sleep of the restless that almost felt pointless, though later Katsuhiro would look upon it fondly, as a sudden boom roared and rippled through his body. "The void's over the palace," someone yelled. Katsuhiro scrambled up from the mud and snow. He looked up. The edges of the other void shields were visible, thanks to the lack of the missing element, layered over one another in flat petals that pulsed like hearts with every impact. They held back their portion of the bombardment, but through the holes, shells fell, unimpeded, making it down to the ground and exploding. The
Right.
shockwave sent Katsuhiro flying. He smashed into the ground and felt his mind swim. He rose slowly, lasgun in his hands. Explosions, flying mud and shockwaves overwhelmed everything.
Not to pause again so soon here, but I will say too, I really do like this perspective that we're getting here too. Like, not the perspective of like the Primarchs or of Abaddon or of anyone like important, so to speak, but of just like the perspective of just like a militia, not even like a guardsman, but like just literally a militiaman on the ground, what this kind of would look like, just like how horrific this would seem and just how desperate and demoralized, I guess, everybody and the average citizen would be in the defense of Terra at this time. I think this is a really, really cool perspective to actually get to see at this time. I'm really appreciating this one quite a bit.
Hands. Explosions, flying mud and shockwaves overwhelmed everything. Doromek found him again. The first gun falls. This is it.
Almost
now,
time for the fun
he
to
said.
really start. Oh
They'll
god.
concentrate their fire like that to take out the biggest anti-ship cannons we have. Little by little, they'll nibble it away until there is nothing left to threaten their landing zones. Landing zones? Repeated Katsuhiro dumbly. We're lucky, Doromek said sardonically. I'd say they're clearing this area here. They're going to be coming right at us. Katsuhiro saw the traitor ships pierce the skies of Terra. Transports hauling the lost and the damned. The guns of Terra.
Oh, they said it. They said the word, guys. They said it.
But it would not be enough. For too long you have suffered. The apostle's voice rang over the Vox speakers.
Damn, dude.
Frightening with the rising bleats of the herd. As Medai strained to listen, comprehension was slipping away into animality. He considered the part that listened his human half. The other part, the beast part, jerked against the leashes of shame. Soon it would break free. But for now he could still understand. You have been cast out and consigned to the fringes of 10,000 worlds. Fit only for the noisome places where pure bloods will not go.
Oh my god.
The apostle said, you are the lords of ruin. For ruins are all you have ever had to call your own. The citizens of the Imperium, whose upright tyrants who shun you, have another name for you. A shameful name. A name that is sowed through with their contempt. Beastmen. The hold erupted with shouts and cries. There were those who raged, but most voices cried out in despair. They call you Beastmen.
So, Beastmen, are these kind of like the same in as like fantasy Warhammer? Or are these like different Beastmen, you know? I know like all races kind of like share similarities in a sense. Are these kind of like their fantasy counterpart? I don't think I've heard of like Beastmen in 40k before. At least like I haven't heard of them in detail, you know what I mean? So yeah, could somebody explain that a little bit? Just let me, similar to them? Okay. Beastman is a general term for people with animal-like mutations. No, these Gore are a stable abhuman strain that has certain anger issues. Okay, so they're kind of like an abhuman, more so than like a corruption, in a sense. Does that make sense? Is that right? Only the same in appearance, not like anything else. Okay, okay. Human mutants brought about by distancing them from the greater human race. They look like Beastmen from fantasy, but different background. Okay, okay. That makes sense. Okay. They are born that way. Okay, that makes sense. All right, thank you guys for explaining. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Out in despair.
So they look similar, but they're not like culturally or made the same.
When man left the world you will soon conquer, he had but one form. Many places molded their genome of our species.
So they're kind of like abhumans to the extent that like Ogrins would be abhumans.
Mind reeled with the surge.
In a sense.
Others retain the name of human, but not you. Not you. Your dignity was taken from you. You were decreed as less than human, abhuman, mutant, undesirable on worlds you called home for hundreds of generations. The Emperor meddles with mankind's form, and they call his monsters heroes. Yet you, the rightful children of change, are branded beasts. If a man is treated as a beast, then he becomes a beast, the apostle screamed. The beastmen roared.
Oh my god, excuse me, I have to sneeze. Oh my god. Oh. Okay, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So they're basically to the same extent as like Ogren, as like dwarves, as any other like I guess like mutated human within the Imperium. The only problem with the Beastmen is the fact that they're like shunned actively, I guess, within the Imperium. They're like, you know, unlike the Ogren, where the Ogren are like accepted, you know, and they're seen as like useful and like they can still, you know, make things work with them. They see Beastmen and they're like, oh, ew, gross, burn them kind of thing. Is that the difference? They're just like, you know, it's the same, it's literally the same thing, but they just don't like the way the Beastmen look kind of thing. They're too mutated, I guess, quote unquote, to be acceptable in this Imperium. Is that basically how it is? Close to being called an outright Xenos in some sectors? Okay. They aren't aesthetically pleasing. So it is literally the case of just like, they're too mutated and they look gross. You know, they're not like, yeah, okay, I get it.
Then he becomes a beast, the apostle screamed. The beastmen roared out their pain. They locked their horns and butted heads. The hold reeked of droppings and rage. Beasts! shouted a beastman close to Asmodai. Beasts! Bleated another. The cry spread through the herd, until the hold shook with stamping hooves and the chant of beasts, beasts, beasts. The apostle continued, but to the pantheon you are holy beings. You are pure. You are the children of chaos.
Few anger issues
You
here.
are the living example of mutability. Go out. Go out into
So they're
the
being
fire
corrupted here.
and
I
cast
see.
down those enthralled to the false emperor. Trample his works beneath your feet. Wet your horns with the blood of unbelievers. His muzzle was shaking. Asmodai opened his mouth and threw back his horned head. Beasts! He roared. His human mind sank into rage. Asmodai understood nothing. His thoughts were of a single sheet of red. He leapt from the metallic tomb and landed on the soil of terror. The pounding of guns could not frighten him.
These
Only
ones got
quickened the
corrupted by
racing of
chaos,
his
so
heart.
now they are extra
His
mutant.
feet
Oh
were
god.
arranged like beasts, with powerful haunches and elongated feet.
Yeah, I imagine.
With the ankle held high of the
That's a good point because, yeah, because they, I think in fantasy they kind of are already corrupted to some degree by chaos, right? But in this, they're just like abhuman mutations, right? So now they're going to be beastmen that are mutated or imbued with chaos. So what does that look like? That must be kind of horrific. I must imagine. Like it's that extra level of mutatedness now that's going to be inflicted with the chaos. I see. Because like, you know, they have no affiliation with chaos otherwise. Very interesting.
with powerful haunches and elongated feet, with the ankle held high off the floor, so that he ran on the single toe of his hoof. Such
Fantasy
physiology
beastmen are
gave the
born in
Beast
chaos.
King
Yeah,
great
exactly.
speed, and they outpaced the pure men and mutants pouring from their own landing craft. Asmodai ran with the wind, his mane flowing behind him, his swollen tongue lolling from foam-flecked jaws. A bright red light pierced through his shoulder, but he did not care, even as he smelt the burned flesh and hair. In his hand, Asmodai clutched a simple maul, a threaded barb with a nut the size of a man's fist, screwed onto the end. Shouting wildly, his cries more bleat than words, he leapt, landing upon a man with a face of pure terror. He smashed his weapon straight through the man's skull in a sickening
Jesus.
crunch. He bleated in exultation, and dipped his head and impaled another on his horns. The rest of his kin joined him, and flooded the mud-slick trench lines, filling it with blood and
Four
screams.
Gores, my Necromenda project, one of them being a
3
Minotaur.
lines.
Oh, sick.
Make 3 lines.
Cool that they're
James
getting,
found a
getting included in that,
handful
though,
of veterans
Andrew, I will
like
say.
himself,
Very cool.
And they kicked, swore and shoved the conscripts into 3 wavering ranks,
Oh.
stretching between the 3rd and 2nd rampart lines.
Oh, no.
Katsuhiro couldn't keep his eyes forward. Such was the horror. A pitiful few men and women from the first line, covered in grime and blood, ran screaming towards them, a look of absolute horror upon their faces, reflected within Katsuhiro. Few were grabbed by veterans, as others scrambled desperately past towards the walls. Las shots cut them down. Any one of you
Jesus.
cowards run like him, you'll die the same.
Oh my God.
3 lines. Another company was running up, this one a little better disciplined than Katsuhiro's own, with a 3rd on their heels, enough to fill the space between the 2 outermost defense works completely. All of their officers were shouting, whistles blowing. "This is a fine mess," whispered Doromek from behind. The hard woman, Ms. her name, was close by him. She gave them both a black look. Katsuhiro had not yet seen another kind on her face. Faces pale with fear looked out at the enemy. Black figures emerged as individuals from
We
the
are so
pool.
fucked.
The flickering battle light made it hard to pick out details. Janin pushed his way in front of his company and turned to face them. "Look," he said, pointing behind the running mass of enemy. "They are coming for us because people like you lost their nerve and abandoned their positions. Our lords and masters, up there on the walls, are turning their guns upon the overrun sections. If you do not hold, if you do not stand and fire in a straight, Emperor-beloved line, then you will die. Because if those monsters don't kill you, your own side will. And I, for one, do not wish to die today. You will fire until your power packs are empty, but most of all you will hold your ground." All up the line of soldiers, Similar speeches were being delivered to the other terrified conscripts. Shakily...
Yeah, that's actually very, very interesting too. To think about, right? Like each commissar, right, and each captain is in charge of a different battalion, a different regiment, I guess, on the field here. Just the way that 40K is broken down, right? Like the way that their organizational structure is broken down, so that, you know, I guess discontent or that morale problems can't arise. Each unit is its own individualized unit. So instead of like, you know, in the case of like, you know, you think of Hell's Reach where Grimaldus is giving that speech to everyone on the walls. In this case, it's literally the case of each individual captain is giving their own fucking battle speech to their own like company of men standing in this fucking formation in this line, which is kind of fucked up to think about because there's no organization between them. They just are being told to fucking reinforce this front line. You know what I mean? So they're each like acting independently in a sense, you know? It's very kind of fucked up to think about. That's just how like disorganized, I guess, the Imperium battle structure can be to this extent, right? And again, like at this point, it's whatever the fuck is left. Go reinforce the line. They get there. They're doing what they can, right? It's just hilarious to think about in a sense to me. I don't know.
Similar speeches were being delivered to the other terrified conscripts. Shakily, Katsuhiro and the conscripts raised their guns. Doromek was already firing as the silhouettes grew from the smoke. Then a wall of red light lasfire smashed into the wall of hate. But it was not enough. Katsuhiro blinked. Something was fast approaching. He couldn't believe what he was
You're about to get gored by a beastman.
Could jump so high. Katsuhiro found himself face to face with one of the creatures.
Oh my
His
god.
mouth sported sharp tusks, along flat,
Shoot
brazen
it.
teeth, all slit with bloody foam that dribbled down its face and off its wispy beard. Its eyes were wide, wild, but human-looking. It snorted at him, and it swung a threaded bar with a nut the size of a man's fist, screwed onto the end. There was a split second in which Katsuhiro could react. One side of it was death, on the other, life. Deep inside Katsuhiro, something gave way like a dam. A flood of rage swept aside his passive, former self.
Oh my god.
He screamed as he lunged forward, ramming his bayonet into the creature's gut.
Oh my
An
god.
agonized bleat rang out as Katsuhiro twisted the point in its guts.
Okay.
The creature died, and more fell around him, their heads bursting from last shots.
You know what? I expected this guy to go down fucking instantly, I'm not gonna lie. Now I know he has a name, so it's kind of like if he's got a name, you know, he's gonna do some work, of course, but you know, he kind of sounded like a bit of a bitch, you know. He didn't sound like he was gonna get that work done. But I will say, first engagement, you know, and he doesn't cower, he doesn't, you know, he doesn't bitch out, he reacts, you know what I'm saying? He reacts, this fucking beastman closes in with him, and he closes with that beastman and fucking spears him. That's good shit, respectable. Okay, all right. Man of action. Okay, I can respect that, you know. First time in combat, you know, doesn't know what he's doing. Little nervous, but, you know, all right. He's performing. I thought we were going to see some bitch work, but that's good to see.
The creature died, and more fell around him, their heads bursting from last shots as fellow conscript bodies and limbs flew in the air. The frenzy seemed to die down, as the last of these goat men creatures were cut down.
Okay.
So much death. Bodies everywhere.
Not enough
Many
death,
of
am I
the
right?
conscripts still stood. A wave of mist began to creep towards the reforming line. Lasgun snapped up.
Yeah, they
more
barely hit
crisply
the
now,
militia.
the weak of their number dead or wailing in pain.
Ah.
A heart-stopping wail cut through the broom. Giant shapes lurched through the smoke, bursting through it.
Oh my
and
god.
Suddenly there were other things pressing the line of men.
Oh god.
Huge mounds of quaking flesh that shuddered forward on twisted legs.
Yeah.
They were as slow as the abhumans were fast, but seemingly impervious to lasfire. Chains hung from them, gripped by handlers who looked insane. They were barely human. Heads lolled.
Okay,
in
that would be
boneless necks.
rather
Human
fucked.
eyes peeped from fanged orifices. Human tongues
Bleat
screamed
yourself,
lunacy
goat man.
from
True,
nostril
true.
mouths. And they crashed into the mass of humanity, sending mud and bodies flailing as they tore men and women apart like vicious animals. Katsuhiro met eyes with one of the mutant creatures. As if recognizing prey, it bounded towards him. He dived to the side as a barbed tentacle of flesh missed him by a breath. She moved so fast. Katsuhiro didn't recognize her. Only when she slowed to step on the mutant's swollen foot and launch herself up did he see who it was. The hard woman, Ms., tossed something into the beast's mouth. A grenade.
Oh, yeah?
Katsuhiro realized a moment later.
Holy
The
shit.
grenade exploded inside the mutant, rupturing its flesh and sending it into keening throes. It was mortally wounded, but still lived, flopping around in pain, thrashing.
I will say I'm kind of surprised at how well this militia unit is faring in combat here. Like, I don't know if this is like a bout of plot armor, but you know, I really thought the beastmen were gonna cut these fuckers down immediately. Okay, like not trying to sound like faithless in them or anything like that, but man, I really didn't expect, like, you know, they're getting working at close combat here too. Kind of insane, you know. Oh my god.
Mortally wounded, but still lived, flopping around in pain, thrashing its limbs with deadly ferocity. A dead handler whipped around on the end of its reins. Katsuhiro shouted, and discharged his gun into the thing's single eye. It exploded with the first hit, but he did not stop firing until the mutant was lying on the ground, body heaving at last. He stared at it. He had never seen anything like it. He had no idea things like that even existed. A hand
Oh,
caught his
brother.
upper arm gently.
You got no idea.
Nice job, said Doromek. It's time to get you out of here. They ran back towards the third line, tanks around them grinding forward, still discharging their guns in the cleanup of the first wave. Katsuhiro lived. His fear had been murdered by the need to survive. The first attack had been repelled. The first of many more to come. Dawn defies us. The walls should be broken. The streets red with blood. Attack! Attack! We must attack! Angron's growls rang across Lupercal's court. Drool ran from his snarl.
True, they are just sending like all their like peasants at them. I'm not going to lie, like all their like weak, like, you know, toss away units at them. And see, this is like the problem, right? Is like, I feel like a lot of strategy in 40k, like obviously it depends like who's leading the attack and whatnot, right? And who's in charge and the tactics employed, right? But in this case, man, it seems like a blunder. They're not really doing much in the way of combined arms. You know, they're trying to do mass assaults of their most unelite units, so that breakthrough might be achievable after mass casualties, but you don't have any elite units to seize on any opportunity to exert any breakthrough at this point, at least from what we saw there. The beastmen going in by themselves, and then that slow moving wall of flesh. You really want some elite units to try to break through that line and to immediately take advantage, because a human line, a human militia line like that should absolutely fucking crumble in seconds, like to any sort of force, right? And they're actually able to hold. So I think that's just a failure of like of utilizing what they have at their disposal. And of course it is also getting units to the ground itself, right? Past the air defenses of Terra. So maybe it just wasn't possible in that scenario. Who knows, right? Who knows? That's just Beastman's natural anti-plot armor. Oh, I see. They are literally cornered against a wave of demons fighting for their lives. Not much hope placed on running away and not fighting. That's fair. That's fair. I figured they would have definitely got cut down, though, but to be fair, like, I feel like a wave of beastmen, it just takes one to get into melee range with you, and apparently they were fighting them back at melee range, which I feel like the beastmen have an absolute advantage in, against just like an average human, especially a militia, untrained, right? First time in combat for a lot of these guys, as we're hearing, right? Just like humans drafted, take this fucking las rifle, go fucking die for Terra, you know what I mean? Straight up, damn. Beastmen get more shit than Eldar? Aw, damn.
Angron's growls rang across Lupercal's court. Drool ran from his
Some people have to luck out. That's true. That's true.
It fell outside the imaging field.
Again, that's that named character luck syndrome, I feel like. That's for sure.
Said, his voice the ringing of a leaden bell. You have lost your patience with your sanity. He is not insane, said Fulgrim sweetly. Are you, dear brother? Do not allow this snake to address me, roared
Damn,
Angron.
dude.
Cease your yapping, hound, said Perturabo. This is a gathering of intellect, not animals.
Damn,
Speak
dude.
with me in person, and we shall see who is silenced first, roared Angron.
You're proving their point,
bested
Angron.
you before, and will do so again,
Oh,
said Perturabo levelly. Abaddon glanced at his genesire's empty throat.
Perturabo kind of dropping his nuts on the table right there, not gonna lie. That's big respect.
Said Perturabo levelly. Abaddon glanced at his gene-sire's empty throne. Horus was late to the meeting. Abaddon stepped forward, but did not speak.
Calls
He stood
Angron
in the
an
midst of
animal.
the Primarchs,
Angron
and
says he'll beat his
disdainfully
ass,
watched
says I already
bickering.
did that.
I have
I'll
heard
do it
enough.
again.
Cut Lord Angron's audio feed. Abaddon said. The Red Angel was left a silent, raging ghost. Look at how weak you have become, said Abaddon in disgust. Lord Perturabo, you sit at the edge of the system pronouncing your genius and implying no one heeds you. This behavior is not worthy of you.
Perturabo putting his
Do not
cannonballs on the
provoke
table.
me,
Yeah, bro,
false
literally.
captain, said Perturabo levelly.
It's like the case of they're all sitting down at the table and Perturabo, like Angron says that, he'll fuck him up in person, and then Perturabo just basically stands up, and when he stands up, you just hear fucking you know what I mean? Like, holy shit. Oh my god.
Provoke me first, Captain, said Perturabo levelly. Be quiet a minute, or you will find yourself further goaded. Abaddon snarled. You, Fulgrim, and you, Angron.
Slapping
have
his
sold
cock
yourself
off the
out
fucking
to
table,
gods
you know what
of
I'm
war.
saying? Letting him know who's
Angron
who.
raged in silence. Fulgrim tittered girlishly.
Holy shit.
Abaddon glared at him. Fulgrim pulled a lewd face. Where is your majesty? Where is your purpose? We stand at the threshold of victory, and you threaten everything with your
Pretty
bickering.
balls hit the floor and the
said
floor
Abaddon.
collapses.
The
True.
door to the court opened, and Horus strode in. More alive and vibrant than he had seemed the last time, Abaddon thought. Captain Abaddon is correct, said Horus. You disgrace yourselves. I commune with the powers who guide my hand, and strive to ensure our victory in their realm as in this. They say this, that Abaddon is right. You gather power to yourselves and become pathetic for his successes. Cease your arguments, or face the punishment of your patrons. Fulgrim and Angron seemed especially kowtowed. Horus swept his gaze around his sibling images. The time has come to enact the second phase of the invasion. Ambassadress Sotanul, attend us, he said. 9 of the Dark Mechanicum stepped forward, conjoining into a dark choir of tech and mankind.
Oh my god.
The fabricator
It's the rare picture of a female Dark Mechanicus. Oh my god. And it's like an obvious female Dark Mechanicus as well. Even Mechanicus in general, man. I feel like a lot of the illustrations, right? It's very hard to tell that, like, it is actually a female under there to a degree, right? Especially with how modified they do look to an extent. Very cool to see illustrations like this to show, like, very clearly there are, like, female figures in still the Mechanicus. They don't all just look fucking like, machine like completely 100% to that degree, because when you look at Call, right, when you look at Call with how augmented he is, like, what the fuck is he? You know what I mean? Who knows, right? Like, he could fucking Call could be literally anything, you got no idea. A lot of the Mechanicus could be literally anything. You got no idea, right? So it's cool to see illustrations like this.
conjoining into a dark choir of tech and mankind.
Hey Hobbit, how you doing? Good to see you
The
back, man.
fabricator General Kelbor Hal was seemingly out of favor. The Aegis is sufficiently weakened to permit a larger assault to begin, said Horus. Our attack craft destroy more of their defensive
Toaster
batteries
Lord
with
Call,
each
yeah.
the numbers of their own defense squadrons dwindle within the hour. The efficiency of the palace outworks is broken. All over Terra, our loyal armies conquer and burn. Now we must take the fight to the walls, and open the way for our allies from the Imperium. The Mechanicum will land their arc ships upon the surface at 8 points of the Octid. We shall begin the work of besieging the palace in earnest. Siege camps shall be established.
One of the main characters in
That is my
Assatorium
purpose.
Kingmaker is a
Perturabo
female tech
interrupted
priest.
in
That's actually really
outrage.
cool.
You said that I would be given the honor of breaking Dawn's fortress. You
Yeah,
did not
again,
listen.
because I just feel like, again, you normally do not see, at least, like, you don't see obvious, like, female Mechanicus, right? There is times where I've heard, like, in videos I've seen, where it references that Mechanicus is, like, a she, right, or a her. but like, holy shit, you don't get the impression, right? Very hard to, at least, with the illustrations you see. So again, when you do see illustrations or reference that this is actually like a female presence, I guess, very cool to see that. Yeah, very cool to see that.
You said that I would be given the honor of breaking Dawn's fortress. You do not listen to me, brother. You dismiss my ideas. You do not let me attack the Son of Soul itself, to bring this to a speedy conclusion, or to break Terra into rubble. Horus placated his brother, but the sour look never left the Lord of Iron's face. What of my never-born legions? Angron growled. What is this witch's hex that keeps me from the battle? Zardu Layak stepped forward. The Primarchs fell to grudging quiet. The Emperor shields Terra, said Layak, but he cannot do so forever. Blood flows in such torrents upon the throne world that it calls across the barrier between the warp and the material realm. Each death sees the servants of the Pantheon push harder on the veil. When the weight of slaughter is great enough, then they will be called through in their multitudes. Perturabo was first to grasp the strategy, and nodded in understanding. If Father's dogs attack the siege camps, they will spill more blood, and aid the coming of your allies. If they do not, then the Mechanicum may raise engines by the dozen to break the walls.
True.
Dawn will see this, but he will have no choice. A rare smile broke across Perturabo's features. Then I shall land first, said Angron enthusiastically.
Angron.
I shall come with them and cleave their bodies. You will not, said another, a familiar, quiet, rasping.
It's fucking Mortarion coming in here.
A voice changed and thickened with phlegm. I claim the task. My legion will be first to attack the walls, as I pledged to the War Master months ago. Mortarion, Primarch of the Death Guard, entered through the grand doors of Lupercal's court. This was not the Mortarion as his brothers remembered him. He was changed.
Yeah, a little bit different, was he?
Enormous, sickly, his face scarred by disease, and his eyes milky with cataracts. Fluid wept from the craters in his dirty armor, while all around him swirled a dense, stinking fog. His lungs rattled as he knelt before the War Master. All legionaries fell over coughing and choking, all except Abaddon, to his surprise. My War Master, I heed your call, wheezed Mortarion, chosen of Nurgle.
I feel like, yeah, to be fair, Angron's got that aggression, but who better to send in first in the Death Guard, you know? Tankiest motherfuckers out there, and undying in a sense, you know what I mean? Undeath in a way. Yeah, man, they're going to take all the fucking punishment that the defenders can take, and they will get to the fucking base of the walls for you to be able to breach, you know? That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Angron's a bit too he's a bit too needy for it, you know what I mean? That's what I mean. He's great at his job. He'll get in there, you know, he'll kill so fucking much, but too needy for it, you know, too needy, too blinded by it. That's for sure.
Call, wheezed Mortarion, chosen of Nurgle.
Abby's plot armor of not coughing when near Morty, true.
Such weakness.
Clear indication of his plot armor.
His position as a lord of men to become a slave to the gods. Angron paced in and out of the field of view of his hollow emitter. Fulgrim giggled. Perturabo glared. My brother, we welcome you, said Horus. Rise. My sons will go before me to prepare the way. They are ready, said Mortarion. We bring new weapons for an old war. My warriors have transformed the limitations of mortality. Nothing can harm them, while I have 7 plagues for you to unleash upon Terra. That the unseen soldiers of Bacillus and Virus reap the foe, and add their deaths to the toll. And when the tally pleases Father Nurgle, then I shall descend to the palace and take my vengeance upon the false emperor. Thousands of fires burned on a cratered plain fronting the eastern walls. Defensive lines wriggled their way across the terrain, like the marbling of fat and meat. Flights of attack ships from both sides swarmed thickly over the battlefield. The plains surrounding the palace were shattered. The corpses of fallen vessels were scattered everywhere, and the tides of armies moving over the land stained it black. Clane Penn's Arch Mechanicum took its first orbital breach with good graces, though it jutted and burned, as the thick layers smashed against the outer shielding of the Aegis. 8 arcs of the Dark Mechanicum thundered around the palace, in a configuration of the profane 8-pointed star. The sides of the Pentarch opened like petals. Ramps slid out from housing. Armored doors opened. A stream of cyborgs and semi-autonomous mechanisms, forbidden machine intelligences, and things motivated by the essence of darker sorts. They began working as soon as they walked off the ships, ignoring the weapons fire that punctuated the void shields of their transports.
That's also really cool to think about, like the Dark Mechanicus and just like the shit that they get up there, or that they get up to, right? Because the Dark Mechanicus aren't bound by any law. They don't give a shit per, like, in any degree. I just imagine them out here making like straight up T-800s, you know? Like, why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't they be fucking with AI? Why wouldn't they be making autonomous shit, you know? There's no reason why they wouldn't be, you know? They're absolutely not bound by any sort of like code or creed now. Like, yeah, they're there to innovate, to actually expand on their knowledge, right? Not to do what they know works, right? Very, very cool. The Dark Mechanicus, I think, are fucking pretty sweet, you know? I think there's a lot of potential there for a lot of really, really cool shit and concepts going on with them. Maybe I'm wrong, but, you know, you don't see a whole lot of them, but when you do, it's like, damn, you like, there's a lot going on there. Super scary, arguably right up there with the oh my god, Druhari. Oh my god, I can't fucking talk right now. The Dark Eldar. I can't fucking speak right now, guys. I apologize, but fucking sleep exhaustion's getting me. Apologies.
Ships, ignoring the weapons fire that punctuated the void shields of their transports. They worked neat and as orderly as ants.
That looks fucking sweet, dude.
Though each device had a governing mind of its own, be it human, machine,
Drukhari, yeah.
All were enslaved to the will of the machine god. All enacted by the Eight. Under the disciples' direction, they began the next phase of the War Master's plan. Within 2 hours, the frameworks of the siege camps was in place, and growing outwards.
Chaos toaster fuckers, oh my god.
It was always
holy shit, Hobbit.
The vision.
What the fuck?
Once the most beloved brother Horus, taking his life. The nightmare always haunted Sanguinius, but its appearance had become more frequent. Dawn was right. All of them were symbols, and though he hated the role his father had placed upon him, and which Guilliman had exploited, he took it upon himself the burden of humanity's hopes again. Surrounded by his sanguinary guard and legionary banners, the angel walked along the outer walls. Wherever Sanguinius went, memories of sunless dawns were kindled. The people remembered better times, and hoped those times might yet return. The enforcers of each city block he passed reported a calming of mood, and a cessation of violence that lasted several days. His procession took him many days, passing several areas facing various siege camps of the Dark Mechanicum.
Jesus.
In time, he found himself staring down the daylight wall. The repairs by Thane and his exemplars rough, but holding. Sanguinius strode up to his first captain, Ralderon. "We have been lucky thus far," said Sanguinius. "The walls are holding past Dawn's more optimistic estimates."
Imagine an AI possessed by demons. An AI possessed by demons, or even worse, an AI that finds a way to manipulate demons to its own ends. That's kind of an interesting concept, right? Because what do you think would win in the manipulation effort, right? A sentient AI that can predict outcomes itself, right? Predict outcomes itself, can do all the calculations itself, thinks it has an infallible logic. Do you think it would be able to actually corrupt demons, right? Versus the demons corrupt it? I think it's more likely that an ultra sentient AI, like an AI that has the knowledge of, like, let's say modern humanity at this time, right? Of 40k at this time, right? I think it absolutely could corrupt some demons, you know? I think it could get the demons to do its bidding, you know, to a degree. I think it'd be that smart. Absolutely. Chaos, we actually have seen /red AI turning into a demon. I guess so, right? But I feel like I feel like it could go both ways. I feel like it really depends on the AI. I feel like there's different degrees of AI out there in 40K too, right? Maybe I'm wrong, right? I could be completely off base with that, but I feel like there's different extents of it, you know? I'm imagining an AI and it meeting the Necrons. Necrons would be like, we are the template, you are the lesser copy. True. Demons win, I think. The warp has corrupted many AIs in the past, and they never get sentience. They always fall to chaos. I see. This AI was the father of all Titans. True. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess from what we've seen, there definitely hasn't been an AI that could stand up to chaos corruption, I guess. But perhaps, maybe it, I don't know, because I just figure with like the intelligence of the universe, maybe if it has intellect of the warp itself, of what chaos is capable of doing, then it might be able to not fall to that corruption. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. If it has the knowledge of, like, let's say the let's say the knowledge of the warp and knowledge of the chaos gods, what they're capable of doing, the level of corruption they're able of obtaining, I feel like it might be able to safeguard itself from that to a degree. I don't know, though. That could be wrong.
The walls are holding past Dawn's more optimistic estimates. He ran his gaze over the displays, away from the live feeds covering the siege camp. The outer works, less so, he said, gesturing to the images of scarred, twisted lands where trenches, walls and men had been only a fortnight before. The enemy continues to test our defenses, and taught us with their intent, said Sanguinius. This is a ritual. The palace is the epicenter. I imagine whatever they plan will be fueled by blood. All the blood angels present had been at Cygnus, and at Davin. They had witnessed the true horror of the warp, and its scars remained. The conscripts fight bravely, said Raldoran. They hang on.
Yeah, they do.
And repulse the enemy every time, though they dwindle in number daily.
Somehow.
And I am forced to order the war guns activated more frequently to bombard compromised sections. I regret we cannot go to aid them ourselves. Lord Dawn forbade me from fighting outside the walls, said Sanguinius. He turned his sad, noble eyes to his equerry, but he did not forbid us to venture outside. Sanguinius paused. Let us go down, outside the wall. I want to go amongst them. I want to see the troops. I want to tell them their heroism is valued. Sanguinius saw the worry in his sons' faces. All the blood angels had a foreboding that
Sanguinius really is just like the fucking go to 40K, isn't he? Like, straight up.
And in their humors. But Sanguinius knew he would not die today. A lucky few were...
Like, straight up, like, if there ever was, like, or not 30, yeah, you're right, 30K, not 40K, I should say. Yeah, Sanguinius doesn't make it to 40K, unfortunately. You know, I kind of wish he did, but yeah, you're right, 30K, my bad, correction. But he really is, like, the GOAT of this time period, straight up. Like, if ever there was, like, a better Primarch, I don't know, Vulcan maybe, you know, because of his care for humanity. But, like, otherwise, man, Sanguinius is really out there just slugging it out for humanity at every chance he can get. He's trying to inspire people. He's trying to get people to do the best that they can, you know? It's honestly, it's really good to see, because, like, most Primarchs, right, they think humans, they think, oh, the losses, whatever, they're acceptable. But then you have Sanguinius out here saying, like, oh, I actually want to see them. I actually want to, like, you know, inspire those troops, you know? It's good to see. You start to see why Horus feared him so much. Yeah, because he straight up is an inspiring presence, right? Like, he is the symbol, you know, of humanity outside of, like, the Emperor at this point, right? Like, who would be War Master at this point? It would be Dorn or it would be Sanguinius, right? I think is who it comes down to, right? And, like, Sanguinius definitely is the morale. He's the glue of the Imperium at this point, I think. You know, Dorn is the shield still very much, but Sanguinius is very much the glue keeping this shit together, keeping Terra together at this point. You know, I think that's true. Not to say, like, you know, like Malcador and the rest aren't doing their part, you know, but I think Sanguinius is carrying this shit, like, morale-wise on his back.
Given codes to starve off the cold, Katsuhiro was not amongst them. To begin with, he cut a hole in the middle of his blanket and wore it over his head as a poncho. He was never warm, even when the dead provided him with a padded jacket and trousers more suited to the climate. All were bloodied and covered in excrement and rotting flesh. He had ceased to care. The cold was a worse killer than the guns. Battle
True,
was an
normally
infrequent
is.
peril. The cold was persistent.
Yeah.
Sometimes it rained a toxic slime of pollutants from the burning cities. When
Oh.
it stopped, it left behind a metallic stink. Those who dared to drink the rain perished. Some tried for lack of water. Thirst and hunger tormented them all. But after a time, some drank the water purposely in order to escape. But for a moment, it all faded away. Katsuhiro had forgotten what purity looked like. But in Sanguinius he was reminded. Men and women...
Now, I will say, to an extent, what is kind of weird to me, right? They're talking about, like, starving on the front line here. They're talking about dying of thirst. There's no water on the front line. They're not that far away from the Imperial Palace here. And they can't even logistically get some fucking rations out there, bro. Like, is it that bad? Like, we can't get, like, one Logi truck out there just to fucking send the boys some protein bars or something, you know? Like, is it that bad? Are we that fucked up right now? Holy shit. Like, they're not that far away, right? Like, they realistically, like, this isn't like, you know, terribly outside the bounds of, like, the palace, right? Holy fuck. Isn't the Imperial Palace continent size? I guess. True, but you're also talking, like, logistically, like millions, if not billions of people defending this place at this point. Like, you gotta have, like, you know, you gotta have some shit in, like, stockpile or something, right? Like, you know, a speeder to get, like, some supplies out there, right? A juice even, you know, a tub of juice or something out there to the boys so they don't, like, die of dehydration. This is bad. Hell is invading, they're cooked, I guess so. Damn. Fuck.
like. But in Sanguinius...
Gotta start issuing hot plates to the troops. I feel like it would solve 90% of problems out here.
As Sanguinius passed along the line, fear ebbed. Filthy hands reached out to touch the Lord of Angels. His warriors moved to push the soldiers back, but Sanguinius raised his hand, and the guards moved away.
Oh, thank you, Hobbit. I appreciate that.
Was the first to dare to hold out.
5 months prefect. Damn, Hobbit. I appreciate that a lot, man. Thank you a lot for that. You aren't getting how bad the situation is. Oh, I get how bad the situation is. I know fully how bad it is. It's just like, holy shit, to think in perspective, like, just like the fact that they can't get, like, anything out there. You know what I mean? It's fucking, like, I don't know. I would think that they would have, like, some vehicles or something, like some type of pack mule to fucking, like, ferry some supplies out there. Like, even if it means, like, the supplies aren't going to get there, you know, you got to try, right? Like, you have so many men out here on the front line hanging out to dry right now. If this falls, right? If this front line falls, you know, your time is up. Like, you know, you're really just, you have them out here to buy time. They got to buy time or fall them back, you know, one of the two. Interesting. I just feel like they have to operate within their supply limits. Like, they can't be losing men to attrition like this. It's bad, you know?
The guards moved away. A female soldier was the first to dare to hold out her fingers to his
Tasty
wings.
bowl of corpse starch? Exactly,
Twitched.
exactly.
But Sanguinius stood firm.
There's got to be plenty of
and
that
allowed
now.
her to caress him. Another person came forwards, then another, until the crowd was around the great angel, arms radiating inwards like worshippers from less enlightened times. Sanguinius was uncomfortable. Katsuhiro could see it, though he masked it well. Like all the rest, Katsuhiro was captivated and moved towards him, his feet dragging through the mud of their own volition. The angel's radiance touched Katsuhiro. He felt a peace in his heart, a calmness in his mind, and a stilling of fears. The aches and chills that sickened him were alleviated briefly. For a moment, he felt whole again. And yet a hollowness filled him as the Primarch moved further on. It compounded within him how insignificant he was.
Yeah.
This was a war of demigods. Katsuhiro, Doromek, Ranakan, and the stern woman Miz departed from the front line, set to explore a worrying concern of tunnels, unearthed by the bombardments. Katsuhiro was held back by Ranakan. They know each other, the Hive Rat had whispered to him. But Katsuhiro didn't want to hear it. Yes, Miz and Daramek were by far the most competent in their unit, but he had no desire to hear the paranoia. There are traitors everywhere, my friend. Ranakan
Traitors?
said. Traitors. Spies.
Spies?
The thought made Katsuhiro shiver.
What?
Sanguinius was still outside the wall when the bombardment ceased. They knew what this meant. My lord, Ascalon began. He waved forwards the sanguinary guard to shield the Primarch. We remain. My brother will need me, Sanguinius said, his voice still distant. Ascalon looked to Rauderon. What do you foresee, father? Rauderon asked quietly. A need for assistance. The White Scars come, said Sanguinius. A low buzzing grew. Jagorian war chants became louder, until they were a wall of sound. Sanguinius smiled, as his brother roared by on an oversized jet cycle and tilted stubby wings to salute. Mortals ducked.
I like how it's like, what do you foresee, father? What do you foresee coming our way? I foresee Chingorian war cries coming our way, like the cons are riding out. Oh my god, he foresees this prophecy, you know, and then they come and it's like, oh my god, he foresaw it happening, and really he just has like superhuman hearing, so you can just fucking hear like them coming from like a long ass ways away, you know what I mean? What do you see, father? They're like, no, it's just I can hear them. Like they're obviously coming, guys. Damn.
An oversized jet cycle and tilted stubby wings to salute. Mortals ducked, so close to the ground with the White Scars flying. Jagatai was ordered by Dawn not to attack, but he is the Khan of
Could
the
see Tyranids tasting
White
like
Scars
lobster.
Legion, the Warhawk
I can see
of
that.
Horus, and
Or like
one
crab,
might as well
maybe.
attempt to chain the wind. The miles of distance was covered in mere moments.
Perhaps shrimp,
As the 5th
even.
Legion roared towards the Mechanicum camp. Sanguinius looked skywards calmly. The Death Guard were coming. I do not die today. Sanguinius roared to his sons. And if I do not aid my brother on his return, he will. I have seen it. My sword, my spear, man the ramparts alongside these brave warriors of the Imperium. His helm was brought and Sanguinius locked it in place. It is time at last for the 9th Legion to fight. Jagatai Khan's jet bike surged as a stream of White Scars began to wrap around the traitor camp. Many fell as a wall of munitions cut down Jagatai's sons.
Damn.
But it could not stop them. Jagatai and his sons banked, roaring into the camp's rear and reaping through the horde of warrior servitors and mechanical guns.
That face is the face that Jagatai maintained the entire time he trounced this war camp, by the way. The entire Siege of Terra, Jagatai's face never left that expression.
He roared, for unity, for the Imperium. When the Tulwar struck the enemy, they exploded in showers of oily blood. Onwards, onwards, my Ordu. Death, death to the traitors. Jagatai called.
Primarch helmet goes on time for shit to get real tough, yeah. Rarely happens, but when it does, am I right?
Laughter and jubilation. Too long that they skulked behind the walls. The wind had them, filling them with its rushing power and lifting them up with its strength. They tore through the Mechanicum lines.
Jagatai was laughing the entire time, yeah.
Generators. The generators explode in a shower.
He would
of
love this
sparks
shit, to be fair.
as they thundered munitions into it. Sons of Horus, Jagatai voxed. Break free. Return to the walls. As suddenly as they attacked, the White Scars disengaged. Always the first in, the first to leave. The guns of the walls were now free to target and rip. The White Scars passed through a hail of ordnance heading out. Explosions boomed behind them, cutting off the fire that
I would absolutely do the same thing any chance I got, though. My vision foresees something slightly out of your perception. Yeah, exactly, bro. You just gotta sound like a fucking mystic whenever you speak. Like, you know what I mean? Speaking in riddles, speaking in tongues, everyone around you is just in fucking awe 24/7. Really, you're just like some superhuman that can just like fucking hear and or see shit. And you're just like, yeah, I'm actually just, you know, I'm actually just built different. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no. I can see the future, believe it or not. Like, no, you fucking can't. Stop lying. I foresee times of great woe, yeah, as you're getting fucking bombed by the traitor forces. Yeah, I can see death on the rise, you know what I mean? Oh, really? Can you, Sanguinius, you motherfucker? Like, yeah? Where did you get that impression from, Yeah, out of everything that's happening here? I think Dorn fucking told us we're about to get, like, screwed for, like, the last 2 weeks here. You know what I mean?
Ordnance heading out. Explosions boomed behind them. Cutting off the
Sanguinius
fire
foresees
that
it, though.
Jagatai revs his
100%.
bike to full speed, towards the Blood Angels and mortal men, standing together on the trench line. He looked up, and thousands of sickly lights grew through the smoke. The Death Guard were coming. Katsuhiro rested his gun on the
If you question him, I foresee your nose getting broken. Yeah, literally.
In most cases, only their heads exploded.
I foresee an ambulance,
The
but
Blood
not for
Angels
me,
assembled
traitor.
Side by side with
True.
Katsuhiro. Bolters raged
Literally.
as pods fell from the sky. Green, sickly mist began to bulge forward towards them.
That's gotta be a
And
meme
Katsuhiro
somewhere, dude.
glimpsed monstrous silhouettes within. Ranakan was screaming something. More about Doromek, but Katsuhiro couldn't hear. Katsuhiro saw Sanguinius atop the wall, weathering the munitions as if they were nothing. His face still looked distant. Then he raised his spear and dropped. The angel spread his wings and dived towards the enemy, his lesser angels in his wake. Jagatai Khan's jet bike plunged down. Its golden prow plowed poison mist, then earth. The Khan leapt free at the point of impact. He rolled twice, using the momentum of the fall to launch himself back to his feet, where he skidded to a halt, Talwar poised to strike. He
Graceful.
stood ready, every sense alert in the muffled battle zone. His warriors sped overhead. Interference crackled in his helm, his communications useless in the electromagnetic bombardment. Then they came for him. Attack is the best defense. So Jagatai Khan
See you getting your head
plunged
kicked
towards
in,
the
yeah.
shimmering mists. Through his armor filters, Jagatai smelled the corruption upon Mortarian's sons. There was a sickness of flesh and soul. They
Ugh.
fought slowly, but the doggedness that they were known for had been intense by the fall into darkness. And no matter how many he killed, they pressed at him without cease. His fury would have inspired 1,000 bards, had any been able to see it. The fogs made his fight a lonely struggle. Hidden from all knowledge, he faced the Death Guard alone. He was a god amongst men, but even sons of the Emperor tire. The first cut to break through his armor came after his 40th kill. A son of
Damn.
Mortarion lunged at the back of his knee, while he was engaging four in the front. The weapon he sought to slay a Primarch with was a simple combat knife, but perseverance pushed it through the armored ribbing of the joint seal. The Khan struck his assailant down, but he felt for the first time in his life a fever grow in his blood.
I'm just saying, that's pretty baller. Like, approaching a Primarch with nothing more than just a combat knife. Like, bro, that's pretty impressive. Also, I want to know why the fuck the Death Guard... I'm sure this was like a ranged member of the Death Guard, which sounds kind of scuffed almost in a way. But why the fuck did a Death Guard unit only have a combat knife? Damn. You'd really think, like, you know, they'd be going in there with, like, chainswords and shit like that, like bigger melee weapons. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
But he felt for the first time in his life a fever grow in his blood. His move.
But still, the fact that he got through with a combat knife is pretty baller, I won't lie. Like, that is a baller move.
Tempting. Jagatai lashed under a mountain of bodies, unable to spare a moment to release the corrupted knife. He looked around at his brother's corrupted sons, and wondered what awful pact had been agreed to make them so, and give them power to sicken a Primarch.
Sanguinius's whole role for the first half of the siege is to show up for 10 to 20 pages or a farm and then leave. Oh my god. Literally, I think that's what we basically got here, but like shortened down, kinda, you know what I mean? But I could definitely see that for sure. Anytime Sanguinius is on the page, shows up, leaves, you know what I mean? Shows up or farm, leaves. You know, it's all about inspiring the men, that's for sure.
Pact had been agreed to make them so, and give them power to sicken a Primarch. Mortarion, what have you done? He shouted.
Jagatai got stabbed by a fucking tetanus knife.
He roared.
Rusty blade.
His final battle cry as death approached. I am Jagatai Khan, loyal son of the Emperor, and I have ridden well.
It was actually less of a knife and just more of a needle. You know what I mean? Like, really, is what it was.
Kill the Warhawk of Jagoris. Jetbikes cut through the gas. The air was filled with the sound of engines and Jagorian voices. The Khan, to the Khan, they cried. A warrior of the Order leapt from his steed, the speed of his fall turning him into a living ordnance.
Oh, sorry, my
that plowed
mouse is
through
like
grimy
over the
ranks of
captions there.
Mortarian's brood. He was hacked apart as soon as he rose, but he had done his work. His Gene Father was free. The Khan erupted from the pile of Death Guard, his tulwar flaring again with the lightning of its energy field. This time he firmly grasped the night hilt sticking from his leg, and this time he wrenched it free. My order to me. Chogoris calls, rise to me, he screamed.
Yeah, literally, bro. Like that Death Guard just like unkeistered a fucking knife and just like ran up and shanked Jagatai. That's literally what happened. He fucking shot out a knife and fucking like shanked him with it. Yeah, literally, like prison stab Jagatai. That's literally what happened. And he was getting mobbed too. It was like a fucking like a fucking mob of people just surrounded him. It was literally like a prison stabbing, dude. Like holy shit.
Me, Chogoris calls, rise to me, he screamed, as sons answered their father's call. Sanguinius' voice sliced through the muffling fog, as if it were not there. My brother, to the aid of my brother. Katsuro snapped off shot after shot, leaving the traitor Marines to the attentions of the Blood Angels, as he downed mutants, sickly men and turncoat army soldiers. When the call went out, the Blood Angels looked out into the gas, following something that he could not see. They stood from the wall as one and leapt over the sloping rampart. Drive them back, roared their sergeants.
Jesus.
Into them, for the Emperor. For
This seems
Sanguinius.
kind of suicidal.
Caught up in their bloodlust, the conscripts rose alongside the Blood Angels and charged after them. Katsuro ran behind a Blood Angel, snapping off opportunistic shots and jabbing with his bayonet. Katsuro saw a line of Death Guard forming up ahead.
That seems like a massive misplay, right? Because like the Blood Angels are, you know, the Blood Angels have like an ability to egress out of there, right? They have the ability to fall back when they need to, right? These human militiamen charging up behind these Blood Angels, the second the Blood Angels want to fall back or forced to fall back, these guys are fucked, and now they're not in a defensive position at all. Like they're gonna get cut down instantly. That's bad.
And
they definitely should have held their position.
Katsuro saw a line of Death Guard forming up ahead. Raised above them on a pile of corpses was a giant in white. Another Primarch. The war
charge normal humans into a plague-ridden area, then let them return. Like, yeah, also that.
He was joined
like you're fighting fucking Nurgle. Like what?
Into the masses of bloated
Marines. Like that's kind of crazy.
Of tainted blood staining the Terran soil. The Blood Angels
and any soldiers they fucking kill, right? Guess what? That's just like Nurgle soup. Like, you know, at that point, like straight up. Yeah.
Marines. Arcs of tainted blood staining the Terran soil. The Blood Angels roared the name of their Primarch, Sanguinius, as they trampled over the Death Guard and mortal traitors. We must depart now, Sanguinius told his brother. They will return. Already the shelling was picking up pace around them. Not quite yet, my brother, said the Khan, pushing past his guardians. What are you doing? Yelled Sanguinius, but followed after the limping Khan. My jet bike. I must go to it and upload the images I gathered there. The haywire white my armor data cache. With this, we shall know our enemy better, and beat him all the more soundly. This is unwise, brother, Sanguinius shouted.
Surely you can just
losing off a blast from the spear.
Return to the walls and
violence is not wisdom.
Upload the information the same way.
I went over the wall merely for glory, said the Khan. It had crossed my mind you might be bored, said Sanguinius.
Literally.
Hold them back. The Khan's laughter turned into coughing.
That was good.
Snapping the data from the jet bike, a Thunderhawk roared in. Sanguinius dragged his limping brother up the rampart as the White Scars, Blood Angels and conscripts retreated back towards the third trench line. The Khan and the Angel looked at each other as the tainted knife in the Khan's hands evaporated as soon as they reached.
From their perspective, they're at the battle at the end of the world. There is no falling back. I'm not telling them to fall back, but like, basically these humans are in a defensive position around the palace, right? And they see Astartes pushing forward, breaking Jagatai out at this point. The second they push forward from their defensive position, they just gave up any advantage they had, right? So now they're going to get systematically killed off. Like, I'm not telling them to retreat further back than their front line already is, right? But to push forward when you're very clearly defending within your means, and that's all you have the capability to do. Like, they're not going to break the siege here. Like, there's no shot that like the Astartes present right now, or the humans present, especially militia present, are going to break this siege. It's not going to happen. You know, they really have to wait for reinforcements, other Astartes elements to reinforce. And that's the whole problem here, right? It's waiting them out, and you're not going to wait them out by charging them head on like that. That's not going to happen, especially as we say, right? Like a plague enemy, right? An enemy that's relying on like one human getting infected, and then, you know, fucking the like super malaria fucking takes out the rest of the troops present, you know, like straight up. Just hold position. Yeah, it's way smarter, right? Like, basically, if you're thinking of it in like, I don't know, like Hoy terms, right? Like, by pushing forward, by charging when you're trying to hold a defensive line, you're losing your entrenchment bonus essentially, and you're disorganizing yourself by attacking, right? It doesn't make any sense to do that when your intention is to simply hold the line and maintain, right? Now, again, in the case of like the Blood Angels here, it makes sense what they're doing. It just doesn't make sense for like the militia to charge forward alongside them. Because again, like, you know, Astartes can egress, they can fall back way easier than just a light infantry human can, for sure. Like a human can only run so fast, right? Like, they're not going to outrun the fucking Death Guard, even though the Death Guard are slower, right? It's just not going to happen.
Looked at each other as a tainted knife in the Khan's hands evaporated as soon as they reached within the palace walls. The warp, its malign influence, was kept at bay by their father. They both knew it. Katsuhiro removed his gas mask upon Doramek's insistence. "Thank the Emperor," said Katsuhiro. "The Emperor protects."
I would never remove my gas
Doromek
mask,
gave
fuck
him
that.
A curious look. "You're not one of them, are you? The worshippers?" "I," said Katsuhiro. "What? I just heard it somewhere." "Well," said Doromek, "the Emperor has nothing to do with this. Space Marines and blind chance save the day." They approached their line and found the body of Runican. "Leave me alone," Katsuhiro whispered. "Suit yourself," said Doromek. Katsuhiro watched until Doromek had gone. Then he examined the body. His heart raced as he saw Runican had been shot in the back. Khan ran in his gene father's
Shot in the
footsteps.
back, eh?
Where the demon Primarch trod, the metal smoke.
Well, if he was shot in the back, then a very interesting question arises. Which way was he facing? You know what I mean? If he was shot in the back, which way is his body facing? Legitimate question, you know? Because if he was facing the walls of Terra, you know, if he's face down on the walls of Terra, facing the walls of Terra, I'm just saying, you know. Coward Goblet was coming to him, am I right? No, I don't know. We'll see. It very much could be like some turncoat bullshit, though. Definitely, I could see spies within the ranks here, corrupted humans within the ranks. Again, corruption runs deep here, right? So, and then you're talking just basic humans at this point. Yeah, no, definitely the potential for double agents to arise in the ranks here. That's for sure. Saboteurs.
In his gene father's footsteps, where the demon Primarch trod, the metal smoked. Heat as much as anger radiated from Angron. Mortals ran from him. Those that did not fell convulsing, bleeding from their eyes, or else attacked one another.
Oh, Farius did it, unironically, kinda. Holy shit.
The Red Angel had not
Oh my
stopped
god.
raging across his own ship, since the shunning by Horus, an acquiescence to the Death Guard. "Khan, I have reports of a demi-company attempting to breach Hangar 19, not far from your position," Lotara's voice said in his helmet. Khan swallowed spittle. "We are nearly there, Lotara," he said. "Angron knows."
Alpha
of the
Legion
ship's
human
useless
agents,
comms,
damn.
Fury a little, but not much.
As in
He
from the
struggled to
book. Oh,
concentrate.
wow. Damn.
"That is not good," she said. "I would agree," Khan finally managed. "You will not land before me," Angron roared and sprinted ahead. "I will..."
How do you tell entry-exit wounds with a las gun? I don't assume you would, besides, like, yeah, the way the blood gets spat. Yeah, you could definitely get spattered. I'm just thinking, like, maybe, like, mass cauterization. I kind of understands what he means. It would be either spatter, right? or based upon which way the body falls, right? Because if he's getting shot from the front, you know, like, it would make sense, right? Like, you'd fall backward, like, whatever way your body's getting propelled, right? You could kind of, like, determine it that way, too.
Land before me, Angron roared and sprinted ahead. I will be first. I must go.
Because if you get shot in the front, you're probably going to get propelled backwards, right? If you get shot in the back, you're going to get propelled front, like, forwards.
The corridor was dead. A company of world eaters had tried to leave, to race on ahead before the demon Primarch. Angron wouldn't let them. He butchered his sons as in their own rage they attacked their Primarch. Khan tried to think of a way to calm his lord, to bring his rage to manageable levels, but the answer eluded him. The scent of blood, the biting of the nails in his head was overwhelming. Shield Dex 84 through 90, port side in the spinal way, every entrance. He could barely speak. His vision swam. Confirmed. No one runs from the Conqueror. Latara said. What about you? Khan. Words belonging to something else forced themselves out of his mouth. Blood. For the blood god. He roared and joined
Where have we
the
heard that
battle
one
of his
before?
father's side. Khan's presence terrified the bridge. Latara's armsmen stiffened when he entered, holding their weapons down but ready. The sound of his tread clanging slowly off the deck made the deck officers cower. They could smell the blood caked onto his weapons. They shivered at the clinks of the chains that bound them to his armor. Let them tremble, he thought. Let them fear me. Latara Sin feared him too. But she, he thought.
You know, I'm just looking at this gun right here. I'm just thinking of how hard that would be to aim. This guy is essentially, he's basically using like the bridge of the nose as like a fucking iron sight. Do you see that on that gun? That's kind of crazy. That's very metal. Do you guys notice that? Holy fuck. That's actually kind of metal, bro. I fuck with that.
Let them fear me.
That's Karn,
Latara
right?
Sin feared him too. But she was brave enough to face him. She had been waiting impatiently for him, and got up to speak to Khan as soon as he approached the command throne. We have a big problem.
The plasma pistol?
As he reached her. Khan
Plasma pistols are pretty insane, if I recall.
He grunted. He forced his panting breaths into the
I guess you don't really need to be accurate, to be fair.
Khan's hands flexed impatiently around the haft of Gorechild. The
Hey
axe
Jake,
was
how
never
you
far
doing?
away from his hands. He'd
Good to
rather
see
lay
you, man.
aside his limbs. I do not have time for this. Make time. Look, listen, damn you, Khan. Wake up. Look at what you've done. Latara bit back. Angron is rampaging through the thrall decks. Khan imagined taking her skull. She was physically weak, but her efforts had sent millions of men to their deaths.
Oh my god.
She would be a worthy offering to the brass throne. Blood. Angron spilled blood, and a voice in his head demanded to know why Khan did not. Latara took a step closer to him. Khan, listen to me, she snapped. I am listening, he said, with difficulty. I have an idea. The nightfall. She was gabbling now. She had a limited period while Khan would remain calm. The Night Lords, he said dismissively. A few weeks ago, I received some intelligence.
Like, oh my god.
From the 20th Legion. They told me that there is some kind of prison made for a Primarch on the Nightfall. If we can get them to take Angron, it'll keep him occupied for a while. Long enough until the time comes for him to land, she said. The Khan of old would have interrogated her as to how the Alpha Legion gave her this message, and why. But such finesse of thought was beyond him now. Lost under an ocean of blood. How, he said, is all he could manage to say. You'll have to do it, she replied. She rubbed her hand over her face again. You'll have to do all of it. The arrogant dogs won't answer my request for communication, but they might listen to you. Khan acquiesced. My lord Scrivok, the painted count, said Latara, bowing towards the screen projection. The hololithic phantom of a youthful-looking space marine stood. He was unusually flamboyant in appearance for one of his kind. The long pale hair draped over his shoulders was more characteristic of
Plasma blasts are like the size of a beach ball, not really a weapon that needs great aim.
Black ovals tattooed over his eyes.
That's fair, and I guess I would say too, right? Like, This sounds like such a weird thing to say in the concept of like 40k, or in the context of 40k, I should say. Like collateral damage, you know, collateral damage nobody really gives a shit about in 40k. Collateral damage is like fucking. Listen, that's a Tuesday, you know. We don't have soft points in 40k for a reason, right? Your round is going to go through the person you're shooting at and probably take out a school behind it. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen, okay? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. That's I need to remember that. I need to recall that, right? When we're talking about rounds in 40k, you don't need to aim, right? Because the concept of hitting your target, shit, dog, anything could be your target. There could be countless heretics being taught in that school. You don't know. If anything, you're just playing it safe, right? You don't know.
Warriors than curses, most striking with the vertical black ovals tattooed over his eyes, and the large sword strapped to his left side. Might I present to you the Lord Khan, equerry to the Primarch Angron, master of the 8th. Yes, yes, Xvixxivx interrupted, waving
Damn,
his
dude.
hand. Your minions relate all this. Besides,
The
who would
femboy Space
recognize
Marine
the
himself,
great
oh no.
Khan? Such a reputation. My, 8th Captain Khan. What an unexpected pleasure. I want a service from you, said Khan bluntly.
Oh my.
This fool offended him. The butcher's nails pounded harder in his
Bluntly,
skull.
I want a service from you.
Khan managed, somehow, to keep his voice level. First, tell me something, Painted Count. I have heard rumors about your vessel. Before we bargain, I must know whether they are true. Xvixxivx's eyes narrowed. That in your flagship...
If the
is
Emperor
a
wanted that school there, he wouldn't have put it in front of you. Exactly.
Count smiled.
It's the Emperor's
Don't
will
tell
that
me.
school blow
You're having
up.
trouble with your transcendent lord.
Especially if the
Favorite
Ultramarines
or
are the
whatever
ones
this
that did
god's
it.
name is.
Then it is
I suppose
completely
that is what happens when one hearkens
on
to
par
gods.
and needed.
You
It's
wish
necessary.
to take that monster aboard my vessel. He smiled condescendingly. My, what an interesting proposition. It is more than that. It is a labyrinth, designed by Perturabo himself to torment Vulcan. As you might imagine, it is ingenious and deadly in design. The Drake was one of the Emperor's more intelligent sons. How do you know this? Growled Khan. How do I know that you speak the truth? Mostly because I was put into it, said Xvixxivx. You escaped, said Khan. You? Then it is not fit to hold a Primarch. Xvixxivx smirked. It'll hold your Primarch. He is a mindless monster. I did escape, but I confessed I had help. The labyrinth will hold your lord. Not forever. I imagine all those little traps and dilemmas will slow him down, not at all, and he'll simply batter his way out. But it will occupy him for a time. How long? Asked Latara. Long enough, said Xvixxivx.
Right. Long enough.
Khan walked cautiously through the mortal quarters.
As long as
Slick,
convenient,
dry
right?
layer of blood covered nearly every inch. A mountain of corpses clung to the walls, most dying from the trampling and suffocation of the mass avoiding the monster. Khan unhooked the teleporter beacon and proceeded in a crouch with his axe ready. He did not need to fight to win, only long enough to tag his gene father with a device.
Damn.
Father, he called. Father, it is I, Khan. His amplified voice echoed through the dark hold. Khan, Lord Khorne demands blood and skulls. Do you not hear his cries? Blood and skulls. A guttural voice grew. I do not
Angron,
hear
you
him,
crazy
my
fucker.
lord. Khan lied. You will. He values you, my son. Heavy footsteps thumped deep in the stacks. Knocked chains jangled. These slaves are unworthy offerings to the blood god. But you, Khan, your skull will make a fine gift. Angron came out of nowhere.
Father, we're on
An
the same
enormous,
side.
Winged red mass smashed into
I like
him.
corn also.
Khan parried the blow with a chain-ass gore-child.
Oh.
Yet every bone in his body rippled. I am the avatar of rage, the Red Angel screamed. The power of the warp runs through me, my son. I will not be chained like a dog any longer.
I think Angron here is just salty that Korn loves Khan more than he does Angron, straight up. Like, not trying to be that guy, Angron. You look scary and you embody a fucking demon. but everybody knows, like, you know, Doom Guy doesn't need to look like a demon to be a fucking demon. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Khan. Khan is the fucking, like, he's the guy. You know what I'm saying? Angron, don't get me wrong. I would not want to be fucking face to face with Angron. But I argue that Karn is just more scary, straight up.
Run through me, my son. I will not be chained like a dog any longer. Not by the Emperor, not by Horus, not by you. You are
Angron just wants to die, and I respect that. Oh god.
There will be blood, there will be skulls. Khorne cares not whence the blood flows. Khan leapt from the shadows, behind his demonic father, and sunk the teleporter into his leathery flesh. Angron howled, and sent Khan flying, his body smashing the blood-slick wall with a crunch. You have no honor, attacking from behind. Yellow eyes blazed.
Honor?
No true son of mine would stoop so low. We are warriors. Khan readied himself. His muscles burned. Gorechild shook in his weakened grip. Father, he said in a drool-soaked growl, I do not wish to fight you. You have no choice. Angron bellowed. There is only war. The black sword hurtled down.
Like, I don't think Karn's arguing that, though.
He knew, but he held Gorechild ready to deflect the blade.
The Karn is
prepared the
more
blow
than willing to give some skulls, don't get me wrong.
Lightning skittered all over the demon Primarch. Wisps of Corsporan streamed off his body in a white fog. Then, with a clap of air rushing suddenly into a vacuum, he was gone. Karn sunk to the floor.
Kind of crazy how Karn straight up, like, he, not only is he able to just, like, take these hits from Angron, right? Like, one of the most, like, at this point, right, chaos imbued, of course, one of the most, like, physically fucking impressive, like, Primarchs there are, demon Primarchs, I guess, at this point, that there are, and he's able to fucking take that. It's just a baseline of Astartes. He is chaos imbued at this point as well, I guess, to an extent, right? But, man, his kill count, arguably, I don't think his kill count is more than Angron. Maybe it is, arguably, at this point. I know he's already in the millions by the time the Siege of Terra takes place. I don't know what Angron would be at in terms of, like, how competitive their kills are. But, yeah, Karn is just an absolute fucking monster. The fact that a basic Astartes is just able to compete with Angron in any shape, way, or form and arguably be better. Yeah, kind of insane.
He was gone. Karn sunk to the floor. The last council of the Senatorium Imperialis was done before the invasion.
Angron did eat some poor guardsmen in the first war of Armageddon.
The Mortal Council had ceded control to the three Primarchs. Yet the High 12 in particular still
be the one guardsman that gets eaten.
It had been the Khan's idea to call them back together, just this once. A show of unity between men and demigods. Dawn, the Khan, Sanguinius and Constantine Valdor stood at the edge of the dais, slightly out of the light, allowing the council their moment of remembered authority. The Khan stepped forward, his presence making the mortal councillors unnerved. On a hollow display, the imagery taken from the Khan's bike and other White Scar incursions painted the view. The dark Mechanicum siege camps, and their assembly of titanic siege cannons. This would take time, weeks or months. Perhaps enough time for Guilliman's armada to arrive.
True.
It was Malcador who stepped forward before Dawn could speak. Thus far, we have not seen Horus's infernal allies upon the field. We are fortunate. The Emperor is powerful and holds back the wickedness of the warp. But every drop of blood spilled on Terra's soil weakens his grip on the energies of the Inferion. Demons. The word was spoken around the councillors. The Emperor's power is not infinite.
That charge from the White Scars was an amazing scene in the books. Yeah. Yeah, we've seen that charge a few times, I want to say. The first one, obviously, in the Jagatai Khan episode we checked out, which was awesome to see. Yeah, that scene is awesome. He does just go absolutely fucking sicko mode, straight up. Does get injured there. Again, he gets fucking tetanus bladed, but it's, is what it is.
Continued Malcador. Soon we will have to face
an awesome scene.
Creatures fighting alongside.
Sanguinius comes in as well.
The
they like high five each other mid-fight.
The mortal
Damn.
councillors displayed their fear. Dawn stepped forward. His golden battle plate flashed resplendently, dazzling the High Lords.
Although the dais raised the table well above the debating floor, Dorn was of sufficient height that he could meet their eyes when standing on the ground. There are further problems the Rakan's reconnaissance.
Charge and Jagdhide's video comes later. Oh, is that the one, like the final charge they do? Like the suicide, quote-unquote, charge that they do at the end?
Began to discuss. Siege towers, said the Khan in disbelief.
Different charge, different charge.
Indications of others, said Dorn. Similar siege engines under construction in the other camps, but none so advanced as these. It is clear to us that soon the enemy will make an attempt on the walls by the Helios Gate. The Aegis' strength held over the central palace, the mastermind of exploiting its weakness. One Dorn knew could only be Perturabo. 8 siege camps ring the city, all established behind defense screens.
Last-ditch charge take the Lion's Gate spaceport. That's right, that's right.
Wall. They are under constant bombardment from the palace, but this will only slow rather than stop them. The shielding preventing our direct targeting of their siege equipment until it is ready and moving against the walls. Dorn paused. Enemy troop strength. We have downed thousands of their landing craft. Nevertheless, several million troop of varying quality are now encamped outside the walls. However, these forces are of little concern. It didn't have to be spoken aloud. All knew the lost and the damned were occupying themselves with the rest of Terra. This is a ritual, said Constantine Valdor.
The Death Guard
stepped forward.
Now, I think the reason I'm confused is because in the first charge, they're fighting the Death Guard, and in the second charge against the Lion's Gate spaceport, they're also fighting the Death Guard. It's the Death Guard versus the White Scars twice in a row, right? Like it's both times he fights the Death Guard there. I'm pretty sure, if I recall right. Could be wrong, but I think that's the reason I got those mixed up. I think is because it's the Death Guard both times.
This is a ritual, said Constantine Valdor. The chief custody stepped forward. 8 camps at varying distance from the palace. Draw a line from each, and the lines intersect over the Sanctum Imperialis. These desperate attacks.
Dorn Amiz is on par with Sanguinius in the siege. Yeah,
they are sacrifices.
It's hard to say.
Unrest, and now reports of rising disease since the Death Guard's appearance. It feels
again. I fully believe like Dorn is the shield. Like none of this would be possible without Dorn. But I think Sanguinius, again, like without that morale effect of Sanguinius, without that like again that like metaphorical glue to keep this siege together, to keep it operating, to keep it like oiled, I guess, for lack of a better word. Yeah, I think it would fall apart. I think people would start turning on each other. The humans might even start getting more corrupted as time goes on, as hope starts to like linger more and more. Yeah, you know, like Dorn has like definitely a very, very sound strategy, a very sound plan, but I don't think he would be able to pull it off alone by any means. None of them would, of course, but I think Dorn and Sanguinius, and then having Khan as like, you know, your not like your assassin, but like your hero in a sense there, even though there's a lot of heroes obviously during this time, or a lot of hero characters, but as like as your big boy to go out there and do the actions you need done, that's definitely the dream team right there for sure.
Unrest, and now reports of rising disease since the Death Guard's appearance. It filled in the rest of the dark picture. The High Lords looked uncomfortably at one another. Dorn was leaving the responsibility of the citizenry to them. Mortals could help, but this was a war for the super soldier. The Emperor protects, one of the counselors muttered, quickly quieting with a glance by Dorn. The meeting ended, but not for the 3 Primarchs.
Dorn, the Lion, and the Khan would be unstoppable.
His brother's excursions outside the walls was useful.
Definitely, if the Lion was here, shit would be easier.
Did they not comprehend what that would do for morale alone? Dorn clenched his fists. Why will you not obey my orders? Why will you not put the safety of our fathers above your own impulses? Said Dorn. We are different, you and I, said the Khan. I am sorry, my brother, but I am going to disappoint you again. Dorn's usual face of cold steel became transfixed with fury. Do not take your legion away, said Dorn. I forbid it. You have known of my strategy since your return to the throne world, brother. Your objections are noted, but at this late stage, meaningless. You will shackle me to the palace with too short a chain. said the Khan.
Oh my
We
god.
fought the Great Crusade to free humanity, not to sacrifice it.
Dawn nodded once, though not in agreement. He rested his hand on his sword hilt. Jagatai, I understand. I feel your anguish that mortal men and women suffer to
Literally.
ensure our father's survival.
But you're kind
But
of
war is a
bigger than that right
calculation.
now.
This one more than all the others. Life cannot be measured in absolute terms any longer. Every death must be set against one consequence alone, said Dawn angrily.
The situation is fluid. Making the enemy change his plans is strength. Force your enemy to react to you. A general who waits for the enemy to act is already defeated. I learned this as a child.
Your wars were different to mine, said Dawn.
Then perhaps you should listen to me. Sanguinius, my brother and comrade, what do you see? Lend me your foresight.
Sanguinius shut his eyes.
Do you see me? What will be the consequences of inaction?
Asked the Khan. I see
You don't
fire
die,
and blood,
maybe?
said Sanguinius.
Oh my
A
god.
world laid rest if you do not act.
If I act,
Asked the Khan. There is grave risk to you.
Fucking out here, Sanguinius, just be like, yes, I see, yes, I foresee fire, I foresee blood, I foresee brimstone raining down from the sky. Jagatai, if you do nothing, we fail. Holy shit, he's spoken, guys. He's fucking spoken. Sanguinius himself, the words came from him. There we go. There it is. He foresaw it, guys. We gotta do it. You know what I mean? I foresee something slightly out of your perception, as usual. Meanwhile, you know, he just recently got a report that, like, you know, there's a Death Guard like onslaught coming, and that Jagatai needs to break it because everyone else like can't.
if I act,
Asked the Khan. There is grave risk to you, Sanguinius murmured.
Oh
but
man.
I save lives.
Implored the Khan. And Sanguinius
Ah, my vision. Yeah, literally.
That is what I was made for, said the Khan, and he made to leave.
And I will ride out.
Perturabo wanted
It's
to be
badass,
off the
though. It's
Vengeful
badass.
Spirit. It reeked of slavery. And Perturabo was no one's
Oh, man.
slave. But he had to speak to his brother. Horus sat upon a throne at the far end of the walkway, which was fashioned of the same black, lustrous stone as the doors. He sprawled carelessly, armored legs thrust out in front of him. His hands on the screaming demon heads worked into the armrests. A penetrating
fuck?
sense of unease had Perturabo in
My
his
god.
grip. The warp. It was here. Brother, said the War Master. It is good to see you. Perturabo hesitated. He should go to his brother.
Rolls a
But caution
die. I
held him
predict
back.
I'll roll between a 1 and a
It is unlike
6.
you to dither.
He's a fucking genius.
Come to
Like
me
literally.
and greet me. You have before me.
Oh my god.
I wish to thank you. We have a great deal.
I'm not trying to say that like they're throwing a little bit too much salt into Sanguinius's predictions, but I feel like Sanguinius's predictions are just like, you know, no offense, but just like observations more than anything that anyone that, you know, could see them could make, you know. I feel like Sanguinius, you know, he sees a lot because he's always so high up, you know, he can literally fly, you know. Man has like recon abilities of a god, quite literally, and he's out here talking about foreseeing shit. My goat, I didn't ask if I will die, I asked if I will save lives. Yeah, literally. I foresee Angron being angry at something true. Like how would he ever know that, you know? Crazy shit. Absolute crazy foresight from Sanguinius here.
You have performed well. I wish to thank you. We have a great deal to discuss.
Truly changing the timeline with those ones,
The
you
Lord
know?
Iron advanced steadily to mask his worries. Perturabo felt no fear, but he was paranoid to the core. He knelt before his War Master, though it burned his soul to submit. But such was the radiating dark power of the War Master. The image of a monster and a brother he knew flickered before Perturabo. You have waited too long to summon me, Perturabo said sourly. Why did you not allow me down with the Mechanicum landing parties? I have examined their work. It is pedestrian at best. You promise me honor and respect.
That's just how he looks now.
Then leave me to languish in the outer systems digging ditches. We delay when we should strike. Horus silenced him. Perturabo's stolid face showed surprise as his words jammed in his throat. "Dear brother," Horus said. He rested his massive claw on Perturabo's shoulder. Perturabo's teeth and bones ached at the other wall.
This face, this is just how he looks now, straight up. Horus just looks like this now, you know? Whenever he speaks to his brothers, he's just got this fucking, like, cherub smile on now at all times. Oh my god. That would be some freaky shit. If this is, like, the expression he showed always, you know? You'd never know. He just looks like a fucking psychopath.
Worldly power. Always looking for the poison in the meat, and never at the feast. I did not summon you until now for good reason. You
that art of Horus is always kind of funny. It is. It seems out of place almost, doesn't it?
As I do.
Just a little bit.
Because you are the only one of our brothers I trust.
Horus be like, yeah.
Be aware of this.
Yeah.
You are blind to the affection I have for you. It offends me. You are too important to waste. Your sons, too. They are valuable. Why would I send you down to bleed with the dregs? I have greater things in mind for you, said Horus. When have you ever cared for the lives of my sons?
That's the face of Horus as he whispers, just relax in his brother's ear. Holy fuck.
Looked at him pityingly.
So true.
Have I not? You are the best of them, brother. This
facts.
is a siege. It is a siege, Perturabo. There will never be another battle like this. You are the finest engineer in the galaxy. I protect my best assets. I preserve them for the right moment.
I don't know about all
toss
that.
Your advantage away. Then you finally acknowledge my worth, said Perturabo stiffly.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I have always acknowledged your worth. That is why I speak with you alone. The rest of our siblings must be dealt with together, like children. But not you. Bold, brave Perturabo. You will have your victory, and all the triumphs due you. When you accomplish the task I set you, every creature in the galaxy will know your name. All shall fear you. None shall doubt your brilliance. Perturabo was enraptured. Horus smiled, but there was no humanity in it. The Emperor...
Did he smile? Is that picture of fucking Horus smiling? This one here? Hold on, what are we at? 156.40? Is this picture of fucking Horus smiling? Is that the smile he made? Really? Holy fuck, dude. I don't know. This seems like almost out of place. Like, you know, I don't know. I feel like every other picture we've seen of Horus, and then there's just this one. You know what I mean? It's just like, what the fuck? Like, this one seems kind of odd. Damn, dude. Yes, Purdy, just let it happen. Holy fuck. Do you acknowledge me? Yes, Perturabo, I acknowledge you. Smiles. Oh my god. Fucking crazy shit, bro. Trying to go back to where we were. 156.40. There we go.
The Emperor is a liar. The Emperor is a liar. A booming voice spoke out across the walls. A floating island of sorcerer's bones swept.
Purdy and Mortarian are hard carrying the traders right now. They're literally like the only two that have really done anything of worth, aren't they?
The common people
like straight up.
You have all been deceived. He has lived amongst you for thousands of years, biding his time, using your ancestors as he uses you now. The Emperor speaks of unity. The Emperor speaks of protection for the species. The Emperor speaks of the furtherance of mankind. The Emperor speaks of many things, and all he says is lies. Know this, people of Terra. He is false. The War Master.
Perturabo being the best trader Primarch is always, literally.
His deceit, and he commands me to relay to you the truth of the Emperor's ambition. Grovel before the gods and beg for their mercy, Leak demanded. Captain Ralderon and Thane continued to stare out at the foul sorcery. Munitions passed straight through it. Drops of rain plinked over Ralderon's battle plate, the few turning rapidly to many. It ran over his eye lenses, smearing the view. What is happening? Asked Thane. He held up a cupped palm. Only then did Ralderon see The drops of rain ran bright and crimson on Thane's yellow armor. "A rain of blood," Radaron said. A great howling split the sky.
That surely can't be
Then
normal.
Another, then a third. 3 streaks of lurid energy shot down from above, each displaying brief glimpses of howling faces. One by one they slammed down. More thunder rumbled. On the horizon, screeching horns blew. "This is it," said Thane. "The circling is over.
Could be.
The duel begins in earnest. There'll be a landing soon," said Radaron, looking up into the bloody rain. "Let us strike blood together, brother," said Thane. He held up his yellow gauntlet. Radaron crashed his forearm against the Imperial fists. Dawn himself spoke then.
Hail Satan time. Yeah, it seems like it. When it starts to rain blood, bro, yeah. It's kind of on at that point.
Come. The time for speeches is done. The first great test is here. My orders to you all is simple, yet heed it well, and exert yourselves to see it done. They are coming. Kill them all.
My god.
Katsuhiro
Finish
ran.
them.
Sheets of blood rained from the sky, mixing with the ash and mud and nearly dragging him down. The poisonous gases of the Death Guard had returned, as well as a wave of streaking fire and blasts that made the previous months look like nothing.
Jesus.
The outer Aegis was failing. The moment had come. Huge
Previous
chimneys
months,
and the
so he's been doing this
multitudes
for
of the
months
siege
now.
towers belched green smoke. Wheels 10 times the height of men churned up the ground, and the massive constructs lurched forward towards the walls. Katsuhiro ran. Even the veterans ran, abandoning their posts in a state of detachment. Weeks of horror had numbed Katsuhiro's soul. The pathways of his body raised with adrenaline that muzzled his consciousness and pushed him only to survive. Blood was in his eyes and in his nostrils and mouth. Tears streamed down his face. Without realizing, Katsuhiro had run to the tunnel entrance he had seen on patrol, and the smallest well of hope filled him in the cacophony of violence. He stumbled through the damp mud tunnel, not caring where it led.
Oh,
His
that's
foot rolled
not
on the
good.
corpse, and he nearly fell. Stumbling probably saved his life, for it prevented him from blundering into the dead man's murderers. Around the corner, dim red light shone, and he heard voices. He crept forwards, not daring to breathe. It was Doromek and the woman, Ms. "Do you ever question why we are doing this?" Doromek said. Katsuhiro could barely make out their conversation. He dared not move lest they murder him, as he now realized they murdered Runnican.
So Dornak and the woman Miz, so the only 2 people with any sort of fucking experience in that militia unit were both plants. Like, straight up. Okay, I got you. That makes sense, though, because, like, how are they so good at their fucking job? Like, why do they have, like, experience, supposedly, right? Like, where did they come from? Yeah, okay, that's fucked. So they are just, like, turncoats within the militia. Damn, dude.
Not move lest they murder him, as he now realized they murdered Runnican. He had
I knew
the
they had to
right.
have names for a
They
reason,
knew each
right?
other.
Straight up.
Spies. For the War Master. Katsuhiro wondered in his panic. They looked to be arguing or conferring. He did not know. Finally, Doromek extended his hand to Ms. "Alpha to Omega," she
What?
said. "Alpha to Omega," Doromek replied. Katsuhiro waited for the next earth-shaking detonation and slipped away before they could kill him. Lukofrius could no longer deny it.
Yeah, that's some
His right
Alfari
foot
as shit
became
right
the
there.
Image of a bird's talon.
100%.
The Night Lord's apothecarians could do nothing for him,
My god.
or those of the Raptor discipline. The very Legion was mutating. He looked around at the shaking crew compartment. The Raptors seemed like Night Lords, until one looked closer. The helms of some had been refashioned, with a distinctly bird-like aspect. Lukofrius stood. He drew his weapons as he walked down the aisle to the prow, trying to suppress his...
I think I just heard a feline overlord.
His
Yeah, you
armor
probably
widened
did. I
his
have a
awkward
few
movements.
walking around here.
Sometimes he thought it'd be more comfortable to run on all fours. "Brothers," he voxed his command. "We fly. First to the wall. First to the blood. Ave Dominus Noctem." The others were rising, as Lukofrius ignited his jets. He ran from the prow and leapt into the maelstrom of fire. 30 raptors followed him, bright comets of exhaust joining the flare and flash of war. The Night Lords were often called cowards, but not today. Today they would be the first on the walls. The Kofris slammed into a mortal, crushing their breastplate and crunching their body to paste.
Jesus.
War crashed around him as blood angels and imperial fists sprinted along the walkways to meet their cousins. The Kofris' heart pounded with the scale of his achievement. He raised his arms and shouted into the sky, Mino Premrish a Minos Morandiath. He cried in Nostraman, "We are the first on the wall." He gathered his warriors and ordered them to secure the landing zone. Scrivok was coming. Gendor Scrivok marched out with a...
So is that true? The Night Lords were actually the very first, like, fucking, like, traitor force on the walls? Like, the very first traitor Astartes on the walls? They were actually Night Lords? Is that true? I don't... man, that kind of... damn. Yeah? Damn. I mean, fair play, I guess. Fair enough. Just, you know, they came in here. I feel like that's the only contribution they've really had so far, you know? First on the walls, which is kind of shocking, but, you know, they just kind of came in there, got that glory, and then dipped, I feel like, you know? I mean, let's see what else they get up to here. Hopefully they contribute a bit more, because, man, I really feel like the Death Guard really deserve to be first on the walls. I'm just saying, the Death Guard have definitely been fucking hard carrying this shit so far in terms of combat. Just saying. Just saying. They definitely deserve the honor.
Gendor Scrivok marched out with a confident swagger, his hand gripping the hilt of his sheathed war blade.
They did delay the line with the running away. I guess that's true.
Ramp before joining his Atramentar Terminator guard. His chronometer told him it was day, but the world was deep in a war gloom as black as any Nostraman noon. Night suited him perfectly. The Night Lords had plenty of things, but what Scrivok wanted was glory, and there was plenty below. Captain! Thane's voice penetrated the fog of Raudoron's mind. Raudoron shook himself out of the fugue. They were under attack from all quarters. The Night Lords to the south of the gate have reinforced, and are moving to our position, Thane voxed. The siege towers are closing. 2 to the north gate, 1 to the south. The Aegis has collapsed across the entire front
Purdy needs a break,
section.
fair.
Raudoron surveyed the wall.
He does need a win, to be fair. They haven't really gotten much either.
Defenders. Secure their landing zone.
They've been denied.
Then bring in more troops. We do not have enough warriors to hold the walls against this attack, said Raudoron. The macro cannon on the gate tower roared, shaking him to his core. Take 1 in every 2 men from sections 12, 13, 14, 17, and 18. I shall provide you with my authorization coding. He blinklit an icon to send the data key over to Thane's warsuit. Target their heavy armor and their terminators. Your legion is the holder of gates, said Raudoron. He looked south again. The Night Lords were close enough for him to pick out their heraldry.
That looks pretty fucking sweet, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Blood Angels. I shall give our guests below a warm welcome they will not forget quickly, said the first captain. The Night Lord's ships were never ending, deploying the murderers directly onto the walls. When the foe were 40 meters away, Raudoron held aloft and ignited his power sword. Timing was all. They must charge first. Drop shields, he shouted. Charge! 100 veteran Blood Angels roared out their battle cry. For Sanguinius, for the Emperor, and the ramparts shook to their thunder of their ceramite. Yela Shovorath. The Night Lord officers shouted through their voxmeters. Advance. The Night Lords gave a wordless shout, and set themselves hard behind their shields. Arranged as a giant, pressing scrum, the two...
One thing I will say that I kind of like about the Night Lords, now kind of a weird thing, they have their own language, right? They speak Nostraman at this point, right? Like a lot of them do. Even their commanders are like giving orders in their Nostraman like language, right? And I think that's a really like cool piece because like it just means like I feel like any other Astartes listening to their Vox commands, potentially, they don't know what the fuck they're listening to. They don't know what they're hearing. They might not know that language, right? Like right off the bat, or they might have to decipher it to some degree, or you might have to have a linguist there. Kind of an interesting like little tidbit there. I didn't really pick up that I guess they give orders like that in Nostraman, but that is kind of cool. Something that hasn't been mentioned yet, there have been Titans involved in the battles. since the first serious lanes on Terra. Yeah. There's also just Titan combat like rampantly going on here, which is nuts to think about. You have Mars obviously in proximity. A lot of Titan legions were deployed to Terra, but also the Dark Mechanicus. The second they arrived, I imagine like, you know, Chaos Titans were also deployed on the field, which is crazy to think about. Holy shit.
Themselves hard behind their shields.
Pretty much
Arranged
every
as a giant
legion speaks their home
crescent
language, to be
scroll.
fair. That's
The two
fair.
legions smashed
I guess I just
into
haven't
each
really
other.
seen it.
Blood and Ceramite sent flying as superhumans killed each other. The Blood Angels held, until Raldaron roared to split. Pounding treads rocketed from behind the red wave, as Blood Angel Contemptor Dreadnoughts barreled into the Night Lord's shield walls. Armored blue warriors were sent flying.
My lord,
Growled Xvixxivx Atramentar Sergeant.
we must take you to a place of safety.
What? Now, at the moment of my triumph, Xvixxivx scoffed.
When word of my deed reaches the War Master, I will be rewarded with power and riches. If I depart now, I will be known as nothing but a coward. The leader.
Another of his escort raised his combi bolter, sighting it on a veteran captain whose armor was encrusted with high honors. Xvixxivx put his hand on top of the Terminator's gun and pushed it down.
He is mine,
He said,
I want him. I want it to be known that I killed the captain of this gate myself.
Xvixxivx pushed forward into the fray. His Atramentar followed behind.
Blood Angel,
Xvixxivx yelled joyfully.
face me.
The Blood Angel finished his opponent and turned to face the Night Lord. Upon his left pauldron, his name was emblazoned across a scroll plate.
Raldaron,
Said Xvixxivx.
I am Gendor Xvixxivx, the Painted Count, Lord Commander of the Night Lord's Legion, and I am your end.
The Blood Angel was unimpressed. Never heard of you, he said. He came in to attack, but Raldaron's
Goddamn.
attacks were parried with ease, and at such speed it shocked the Blood Angel. The duel looked like a sure victory, until Xvixxivx's attacks became sluggish. The demon within his sword had deserted him.
What?
Said Xvixxivx.
Convenient timing, I will
Raldaron's power
say.
sword banged against the edge of Xvixxivx's blade, sending him stumbling backwards. That is always the problem with your legion. You are quick with your torturous knives, but so few of you are worthy warriors. Raldaron's power sword slashed across Xvixxivx's chest, breaking open the ceramite and severing his power cabling. The Painted Count fell back and began crawling.
Demon did a little trolling, seems like
The
it.
Painted Count said,
I give you my surrender. You beat me. I am your prisoner.
That's what happens when you choose Chaos. It just seems like weird timing for that to happen now. And like, I feel like, you know, Chaos wants to win here, right? Even if you're a demon and you're trying to backstab, right? It doesn't really, I think, like serve you any purpose to abandon like your avatar, or I guess the force fighting for you at this point, right? Does it? Like maybe it does. Maybe he's just trolling purely. Just seems like kind of a weird time to abandon him. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit, right? When like, you know, we kind of need you to come and clutch for us. Every Night Lord is gangsta till the Blood Angels and Raldaron appears. Yeah, true. Yeah, he seems pretty badass. He is cutting down quite a few of them on the walls here. Definitely seems like a hero character.
Said, I give you my surrender. You beat me. I am your prisoner.
There can be no prisoners in this war. Said
Damn.
Raldaron. How much mercy have you shown to all those you harmed? I have as much mercy for you as you had for them. Now, get off my wall. Raldaron raised his bolt pistol. Screaming in defiance, Xvixxivx shoved himself over the edge, reaching terminal velocity long before he hit the ground. The
Jesus.
stone broke him.
Oh my god.
A broken man in broken armor stirred at the foot of the wall, a single casualty among thousands. Gendor Xvixxivx was dying. The fall had brought him down across a lump of rockcrete, and his back had shattered on it.
Fuck.
He could move his arms. Everything below his shoulders were useless. Blood pooled underneath him and began bubbling up in his throat. Gendor Xvixxivx did not wish to die.
Demon,
He whispered. The blade began to fizz, boiling off into
Deserved,
black
yeah,
smoke that
arguably.
fled upwards toward the flame.
Again, I don't feel bad for the Night Lords. The Night Lords are fucking
said.
awful. You know what I mean? They're bad
Demon.
people.
wait. Do not desert me.
I have not deserted you, Gendor Xvixxivx.
Bones almost dead? Yeah, for sure, Battle
Not
Chicken.
yet. The demon
Hopefully
came
we
fully
catch you
formed,
soon. It's almost
solid
over, I
as a
think,
man
here.
of flesh and blood. It was a scrawny
16 minutes
thing,
left?
with skin covered in tumorous lumps. Its head had something of the equine to it, being long, with eyes set far back into the side of its face. Scrivok whimpered.
Why did you leave me on the wall?
Said Scrivok. Because I could.
Because you're a
it said.
bitch.
Its voice was that of a predator.
Oh my
Because
god.
you needed a lesson. I made you strong, Scrivok. And you assumed that strength was your own. You are a traitor and a murderer. Ruthless and a little cunning are your only gifts. But you mistook my talents for yours. Can you imagine? The painted count thought himself the equal of the first captain of the Blood Angels. A
Wow.
priceless error.
That's kind of funny.
Do you
Holy
want
shit.
Me?
Scrivok said.
Even the demons are
His life
shitting on
was
them,
ebbing
saying that
away.
they're worthless.
Not
Holy
long
fuck.
Now. He almost welcomed it. You can offer yourself to me.
You thought you could take a blood angel? Ha.
I will take you into
As if.
myself. You will become part of me, and I will become part of you. Together we shall live forever.
I pledge myself to you. I shall become yours. You will be me, and I will be you. Is that right? Please, do not let me die.
The demon chuckled. Did I mention? Said the demon into his mind, for the mind was now its too.
Wow.
That for you to deliver pain correctly, you must learn what pain is. I will take you now into the warp, where for 6 times 666 years, you will learn the depths of agony. Scrivok's body convulsed, then vanished. In the
Damn.
depths of the warp, Gendor Scrivok began to scream.
Ugh. So he just sold himself
It
there?
hit the ground,
Holy fuck.
sending out a billow of flame that raced over traitor and loyalist alike. Father! Roared the giant. His
It's kinda
furious,
funny, I'm not gonna
brazen
lie.
voice was empowered by the violence, thundering louder than any cannonade and audible over the racket of battle. I have come for you. The Nightfall was a prison designed to hold a Primarch, but no bars
Honorless
could hold
coward,
back
yeah.
the Red Angel of Khorne. Surrounded by flames, Katsuhiro did not see Angron fall from the sky, but he heard his call, and he saw the things the fallen Primarch summoned. He was a creature of rippling crimson skin and leathery wings. It was rage incarnate, and Katsuhiro felt his blood boil with hate just at the sight of it. The World Eaters came loping from the fire with their chainswords, and set about their grisly work. They butchered men and women, hacking skulls from the dead and living alike. Blood
Jesus.
and skulls! Blood for the Blood God! The giant howled. Katsuhiro and the surviving conscripts ran towards the walls, their lungs burning from exhaustion. Katsuhiro saw the desperate legionaries battle upon the walls, and knew he and all below were abandoned,
Yeah.
to slow the raging death on their heels. Then, a miracle occurred. Multi-throated horns sang orchestral war cries, and the Helios Gate began to open. Loyal men and women of the Imperium.
Jesus.
A great amplified voice boomed from the gate. Look now to your salvation. Make your way into the Emperor's protection. You have 3 minutes.
No.
Katsuhiro cried
Holy
and
fuck.
sprinted towards salvation.
You have 3 minutes? That's kind of fucking goated, though. Like, no one else would open the gates for people like that. Like, straight up. Like, at that point, you know, because not only are they seen as deserters for deserting their post, but, like, to open up your gates, you know, you have, like, turncoats in there. You potentially have, like, plague victims in there. You don't know what you're letting in the walls at this point, right? So for Sanguinius to do that, I mean, damn, like, really goes to show you again just how, like, goated he really is, just how much he really truly does care for humanity. In a sense, he doesn't want to just like let people die unnecessarily if it's avoidable, you know what I'm saying?
Cried and sprinted towards salvation. Chain Teeth growled past Raldron's face. With a hair's breadth to spare, he leaned back and slashed down with his power sword, cutting the axe head from the World Eater's weapon. The traitor legionary slammed a fist into Raldron's face, knocking his helmet into his cheek. Raldron jammed his ball pistol into the neck joint of his foe's armor and pulled the trigger, emptying the ammunition clip. The World Eaters were scaling the walls, reinforcing the few Night Lords left on the rampart. They fought with astounding savagery, with no thought for tactics or self-preservation. They were just berserk. "Finish them," Raldoron voxed. "Get them off the walls." The Blood Angels and Imperial Fists desperately cut back, blood and gore multiplying. Raldoron peered over the violence. The first siege tower was mere meters away, the noxious gas and blood mixing in a pollutant tide.
Goddamn.
Raldoron heard the thundering creak. Thane, Thane, he voxed. "The gates are opening. Angron is outside. Thane,
Oh my god.
whose authority do the gates open? Are we betrayed?" There was a rush of air behind him, and the thump of boots.
That would be pretty fucking terrifying. Like, yeah, so I guess Sanguinius kind of did this, like, heat of the moment kind of deal. Because, yeah, like, if none of the other defenders were, like, notified, like, hey, we're opening the gates for the people outside, and the gates just fucking open, I would shit myself as a defender. I'd be like, oh my god, we're fucked. We're fucked. They're already in. They're already in. What's going on? Like, we're done for already. Like, are we betrayed? Yeah, like, shocking. Like, nothing was, like, I guess, like, communicated that was going to happen, but how do you communicate it, right? Vox channels are probably a mess, and that's assuming they're even working at this point to begin with, right? So, yeah, I could definitely see that causing mass confusion.
Are we betrayed? There was a rush of air behind him, and the thump of boots upon the stone. He turned to see Sanguinius aloft on the wall, sword drawn in his left hand, the spear of Telesto in his right. "The gate opened by my authority, Captain." Sanguinius strode to Raldoron's side. "I will not abandon the human troopers to this vile death, while some might be saved. In them I see bravery, I see loyalty, but above all, I see faith in my father's vision. I shall not let them die, while there is blood in my body and strength in my limbs. Fear not, my son. I do not die today. For the Emperor!"
I foresee it,
called
guys.
Sanguinius, and led his sons into the fray. Katsuhiro rushed past the wall of amber armor, led by Captain Thane. Whistling bolts flew past his head, as the blood-crazed traitor legionaries were mere meters behind him. Katsuhiro turned to look towards the palace. To his amazement, a group of titans were advancing down the main road towards the Helios Gate. Green and red and white, they blew their war horns in outraged cries. They sang their war songs once again, and the largest spoke. "The Emperor protects," it said, and opened fire. Laz weaponry of a scale that dumbfounded Katsuhiro cast double spears of hard light at the enemy horde. They both hit the rampaging giant Angron, throwing him
Jesus.
back and splashing into the horde of traitor troops. The enemy was streaming for the open gate.
I like how Angron just casually fucking eats, like, Titan fucking blasts like that for breakfast and just keeps on going. Like, isn't that kind of insane? Like, I don't know where, like, this guy where he scales, you know? Because it seems like, you know, like, Karn will, like, best him at times. And, like, other people will best him at times. He's indestructible, but then he'll take, like, fucking Titan blasts. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to get a lock on Angron, just how, like, strong he really is.
Crashing into the horde of traitor troops. The enemy was streaming for the open gate, but were annihilated, and the survivors began retreating in disarray.
Angron just kind of stopped being
The
a person,
disease
yeah.
camps clamped down. A bloated array of death guards surged, but they were slow, bloated by sickness, disabled by infirmities. The Blood Angels moved with a grace that their counterparts could not match.
Sanguinius really has a thing for speechcraft. He does.
Just as much stinking
He's got some
blood
really
was
good
spilled
speeches
as
in
fuel.
40k from what we've
Legionary
seen.
vitae stained everything, but the line held. Sanguinius leapt at one of the towers. He slew the Death Guard with such speed and power that all that came against him died.
Shit, appreciate the donation there, Hobbit. Let me get this straight. The one time the Night Lords charge into a straight-up fight, not only do they get murdered, but their leader pleads for mercy when his demonic power left him. Yeah, yeah, that is right. That's correct. Yeah, the one time the Night Lords actually engage in a one-on-one fight, a straight-up fight, they get their ass beat, and their acting Lord Commander gets fucking his ass beat, tossed off the walls, begs for mercy from a demon, and then that demon just makes him his bitch, pure and simple. Yeah, the Night Lords, I don't know, man. I I know people enjoy the Night Lords. I know, you know, I'm sure there's some love for them, bro. But again, I don't feel any sort of like care for them. They just seem like a bunch of assholes, and like, I don't know, they seem to like forgo their own like sense of honor. They seem like hypocrites to a degree at times. I don't know, man. They just seem backwards to me. I don't know, man. Maybe that's just me. Maybe the Night Lord's hate is unwarranted, but I don't know. They're not my favorite, that's for certain.
Through the Death Guard with such speed and power that all that came against him died. With blasts from his spear and the sweeps of his great sword, he ended their treachery once and for all. He
appreciate the donation there, though, Hobbit.
Knocking as
It
many
means a lot to me,
foes
man.
on the
Thanks.
edge as he
Thanks for
slaughtered
that.
directly. Then, having cleared a space, he leapt. He beat his wings and then flew up. Sanguinius was captivated by the sight of his brave sons holding back the tide. Such pride stirred in him at their sacrifice.
But for Curse is psychotic a little bit.
Their valor only a few more times before the final act of his life played out. He turned towards the thundering Titans, waving to signal the god machines. The Titans advanced outside the Helios gate, each step sending shockwaves through the ground as they turned. Giant las beams slammed into the siege towers. The corrupted constructs, though bigger than the Titans, burned through. Warp-infused bronze melting and exploding with hellish fire. Scalding fluid blasted out in every direction, and the towers shook, spilling the tiny figures of battling space marines from its broad ramp. Chained explosions raced up from its many floors, blasting flames from its firing slits and windows. Magazines caught, energy sources detonated. Radaron grabbed the standard from a dead banner bearer and waved it over his head. The tattered flag snapped beneath the winged blood-dropped finial. To me, sons of Sanguinius, to me! He called down from on high. Sanguinius, most perfect of all Primarchs, still hurtled.
Sanguinius, I predict that many of my sons will die. Yeah, literally.
As they began to push them back.
Sanguinius opening the gate. Boys, come around me. Come around me. I have a new prediction. Many of you will die doing this, okay? Many of you will die, but don't worry. I won't today. Not today. Let's do this.
Death Guard,
like what?
And the Blood Angels roared.
Bro,
as
what?
They began to push them back. Death Guard,
Sanguinius, you crazy
Night Lords
fucker.
and World Eaters all plummeted towards their death. A dark shape grew suddenly from the sky. Angron was flying straight at them.
Most perfect Primarch with his mutant wings, yeah.
His demonic brother.
A little bit of hypocrisy in that one too.
The Emperor's wards were weakening, and soon the Neverborn would walk upon terror. But for now, even
Sanguinius
Angron
is basically a
could not
beast
enter the
man when you
palace.
think about it.
Sanguinius,
Just saying.
Growled Angron. Face me, let us fight, you and I. You shall not pass over these walls, said Sanguinius, nor under or through them until our father decrees it. You know this to be true. Angron snarled. Then come out and fight me, Red Angel to Red Angel, upon this field of battle where father can no longer interfere. Sanguinius simply saluted
Part
his
man,
brother,
part swan.
as if Angron remained the troubled warrior of before. We will fight, my brother, but not today. Angron roared and wheeled around, for he must have seen the truth in the great angel's words. He did not make another attempt to pass over the wall, and flew back to the burning plains below, where the last of the unfortunate few of the outwork defenders were being hunted down. The battle was over. The ground rumbled as the Titan strode back through the Helios gate. Katsuhiro stared as the gates closed. Transhumans moved all around the square behind the gatehouse. Now combat was done. They went about rearmament and repair.
Don't remember
without
any
the
beastmen with
post-combat
wings in
shock of
40K?
lesser humans.
Yeah, like definitely, it's very weird to me to think like the beastmen are not okay by Imperium standards, but one of your Primarchs literally has fucking wings spreading out of his back. You know what I mean? Like literally has like animalistic wings, like, which is a very like beast or like avian quality to a degree, right? I don't know. I just feel like, you know, I don't know, and again too, I don't know if every beastman like looks the same, as like no racial, of course, but I don't know if like every beastman like is fucked up to the degree of like they have horns, they have a snout, they all look kind of like that, or do some look more human-esque than they do beast? You know what I'm saying? Or is there kind of like a standard for the Beastmen, I guess, in 40k. I don't really know much about them in 40k at all, and to know that they're kind of like a separate entity from like Chaos, unlike like the fantasy version, that adds a lot more, I think, like nuance to their race too. So I don't really know much about them. We might have to check them out sometime, a little bit more about them, because I'm just curious how they work, I guess.
They went about rearmament and repair without the post-combat shock of lesser humans.
Please, my lord,
Katsuhiro said.
Very little gore lore for 40k, okay.
He expected to be ignored, but the captain stopped at his cot and looked down on him.
Why did you save us?
Katsuhiro whispered.
We were ordered to,
said the Space Marine.
Then you think it a waste of resources?
Katsuhiro muffled.
I do not blame you. I am a coward. Every time I think I have overcome my fear, then some fresh horror is revealed, and I am a coward all over again. The city was put in danger for our sake. I am sorry. Hear me, son of Terra.
Not one of you who fought upon those lines is a coward. You did what you were asked to. You performed your duty. I am proud to call you my comrade in arms. Whatever the cost in blood, and the risk of bringing you within these walls, this I, Maximus Thane, swear to you. Now rest. You'll be needed again. The Space Marine walked away. The Medicae orderly came to Katsuhiro and pushed him back gently into his cot. But Katsuhiro saw something behind Thane's huge, yellow bulk that made him sit up.
That man, stop him!
A soft plastic mask was pulled over Katsuhiro's face. He struggled against the hands pushing him down. Thane moved on, calling to his men, revealing Doromek, the traitor.
Stop.
Oh.
Stop him.
Katsuhiro muttered,
oh
already
god,
losing consciousness.
That's fucked.
Doromek saluted ironically.
Oh no.
As Katsuhiro's eyelids shut.
And he knew. He made eye contact. He's like, yeah, bugger, yeah.
The air was foul.
See too much, huh? Don't like that.
Where Abaddon watched over his father.
We're already in, motherfucker.
Leyak and his tongueless servants had followed him there, giving him
the fact that he even he looked at him and gave him a little salute. Fuck, dude. Damn, little inside joke there, I guess. Alfarius inside joke. Damn.
As always, Leyak and his tongueless servants had followed him there, giving him no moment of peace.
He spends too much time in his meditations,
said the first captain. Horus's eyes were wide open.
Beastmen and 40k tend to have similar features, traits.
His mouth gaped.
To one another, unless I'm mistaken.
Imbecile or dead.
Okay, since there are ones considered
humans,
okay.
Master like this. He wished he did not see it himself, but he could not stop looking.
How do you think that Angron walks on Terra?
Said Leyak mildly.
He will not be the first child in the warp to do so. The Emperor's might dwindles because Horus confronts him in the warp. Without these attacks your father makes upon the Terran despot, our allies would never break through.
Erebus would have claimed those triumphs for himself.
I am not
Of course
Erebus.
He would have.
The first apostle served himself first, and the gods second. That is why the War Master banished him. He and Lorgar were faithless in the end.
What about you, Leyak? Do you keep faith?
He said dismissively. A burst of angry heat radiated from the apostle.
I serve only the gods. For what use is mortal power in the face of eternity?
Abaddon stared at the War Master.
The price of this is too high. We can bring the Emperor down without the Neverborn. I do not like what these sorcerous journeys are doing to my father, and I hold you responsible.
No, me.
It will make no difference. It is too late to change the War Master's path. The deal has been struck. The demonic legions wait to add their might to yours. There is no going back on that.
We could have obliterated this world.
Then you would have lost. The Emperor is no ordinary foe. Slay his body, and he will persist. He must be destroyed, face to face, in body and in spirit.
And we should have tried it on our own. If Horus continues with this harassment of the false Emperor, He risks
Very
himself.
interesting there. They just admitted we have to destroy him body and soul physically at the same time. They killed his body, but they didn't kill his soul. Interesting. Is that warrior tier I hear? That is absolutely warrior tier you hear. Yeah, warrior tier, Vox in the Void, naturally RP. They got a lot of fucking goats in this one. A lot of fucking goats in this one to do the voice acting, I will say.
This harassment of the false emperor, he risks himself. Do not underestimate the power of the emperor, Layak. I do not. Do your masters?
Layak did not answer Abaddon's question.
There are pressures upon our labors. They must be completed quickly, or the war will be lost.
Abaddon looked at the Mars priest.
Such as? Guilliman is nothing. I will break him. I will break them all. These loyal sons, these Primarchs, they are weak.
Layak's 6 eyes flared.
Do you believe that Guilliman's advance is the only limit of our time?
Layak, I have no liking for you. You are useful. And Horus has decreed that you are not to be harmed, but I would require little excuse to overlook both these protections you enjoy.
I will say what needs to be said, threats or not. I serve the gods. My life means nothing.
Abaddon's fists flexed.
Then if you are so faithful, I dare you to speak, and we will see what affection the gods hold you in.
You have seen it. You can sense it. Horus is failing. He is too strong to defeat. But it may be that he is too weak to claim victory. The Pantheon gifted him with great ability, but the favor of the gods carries a steep price.
Speak clearly.
Horus's soul is bright with divine might, but it burns. Mighty as his being is, it is finite. He is not invincible in this world or the other. If we delay too long, he will be devoured by the power he commands.
Abaddon did not want to recognize it. He could not. But he knew, looking at his father's blank face, that what Layak said was true.
How long does he have?
Long enough, perhaps. His will is strong.
But if it is not strong enough, if he fails now, if his soul burns out before the task is done, what will happen?
Then, my lord, what happens will be what has always happened before.
Layak looked at Abaddon.
There shall come another champion of chaos.
Interesting. Damn, is that it? Is that it? Oh, that is it. Damn, what a sudden ending there. Okay, guys, shit. That was the Siege of Terra, Lost in the Dam by the Amber King. Holy shit, wow. A little bit of a sudden ending there, but that was really, really good. I really liked that final dialogue there. Yeah, that was really good. That was between Abaddon there. And yeah, Abaddon is very interesting during this time period, I will say. Yeah, Jake, I agree. Like, you feel for Abaddon in a sense, because he did just want a war, right? Like a straight up one-on-one war. He didn't want all this like warp fuckery, seemingly. It seems like a few of them didn't want that, you know? But what can you do, right? A lot of the traders, you know, they openly did want more power, so they're going to take it where they can get it. Chaos is offering that power, offering them the means to an end here, so yeah, it makes sense that they're absolutely going to take it. That was very, very good video, though, and a lot of fucking goat voice actors in that as well. Again, you got naturally RP in there. You got obviously the Amber King himself. You know, you got Warrior 2. You got Vox in the Void. So many great voice actors in there. That was great to see. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that one. We're probably going to have part 3 up on the poll next week because, you know, how can we not after this? If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you guys hit the like button. It does help out a ton. Subscribe if you are, and of course, leave your recommendations, what you guys want me to check out in the comments below. You know, if you're not watching this in the stream right now, for you, those of you in the stream, big thank you to guys for you to, oh my God, big thank you to you guys for tuning in. Really, really appreciate that, guys. And thank you to Hobbit there for those donations. That really does mean a lot to me, guys. Yeah, no, that was awesome to check out. Goated video, very, very goated video. Weird with his endings. He is kind of weird with his endings, I will say. Some endings are very sudden. Some have like a 5 to 10 minute like I guess like end credits kind of like scene. They're a little inconsistent, I will say, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. You know, it is the ending of the video, so can't really complain too much. Any games tonight? I do want to stream something tonight. I don't know if it's going to be right away. It'll probably be in a few hours at least, like probably around like 12, 1-ish. Maybe 2, we'll see. I'm not too sure what I want to play yet. Not too sure what I want to play. I'm either going to go for... I'm thinking here. Either going to be some more Detroit, because I do want to play some more of that. Potentially some more Frostpunk, because, you know, we didn't finish the refugee scenario last time. But we also do have to start Mass Effect at some point. We got to start Mass Effect at some point, too. Looking forward to replaying that. We got to start off with the first game at some point. I don't know if I want to start that tonight. I might start that during the day at some point. I do want to get, starting this coming week, I'm probably going to get this organized tomorrow on Sunday here. I do want to start streaming consistently kind of thing. So I am going to try to put together an actual stream schedule for the week. You know, so at a minimum, we'll try to do a video a day and then try to stream at night kind of thing, or stream after the video is uploaded, depending on when that is, right? But I do want to kind of have like a hardline streaming time set each day, just so people kind of know when I'm streaming, so they can tune in a little easier, make things easier on you guys there. Because I do just stream at random times, and I do feel kind of bad for that, because it is entirely random on whims when I do that shit. And I feel like, you know, having a for sure time, like, yes, we're doing this on this night kind of thing, would make it a little bit easier for you guys. But no, big thank you to you guys for tuning in. Big thank you to all of our members, all of our Hastati, our Principe, Dagenhart, of course, our Prefects, Fear and Hobbit. Appreciate you guys. You guys inspire me to make more content for you guys every single day. And yeah, we're probably going to end the stream here, guys. Big thank you to you guys for tuning in. And without any further delay, this has been Centurion, and I'll see you guys in the next one, guys. Peace, guys.